September PPI data that was scheduled to be released here this morning. PPI month-over-month final expected to be negative 0.1 versus negative 0.1 there. Flat reading on the core expected there, but not seeing that come through. I'll let you know when it does. Overall, the market trying to hold on to basically where we ended the day yesterday. We are slightly higher to start for the S&P and the NASDAQ. Nice move for Bitcoin overnight. That has these all sharply higher. There's Coinbase up 7%. I mean, they were very negative yesterday. So back to 150 here for coin. We'll talk about crypto-related stocks across the board, moving back to the upside. EVs looking a little bit stronger today as well. Tesla back to the upside along with, hey, guess what? More positivity for semiconductors as well. I know you're shocked. Happy Valentine's Day. It's Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. All right, so the month-over-month number shows up a little bit late, but negative 0.2% there versus forecast of negative 0.1%. Again, producer prices, so that's how much producers are paying to produce the products that we pay for. Negative 0.1 on the core month-over-month. This is very slow today versus a flat reading, so a little bit downside market overall. Probably not going to react to that whatsoever. We will get, it's worth noting, January PPI coming up on Friday, which is a little more relevant because it's a little more current, a little bit of a delay on that December reading. Oil back to the upside here at 8:30 there with heavy volume coming in as well, back to about 0.5%. But overall, the market holding on to positive territory here to start things off.
Yeah, nice bounce back after yesterday's aggressive sell-off. I woke up this morning, saw the NQ up 100 some odd points. We'll see what today brings. Obviously, some interesting aftermarket stuff. I hope you guys caught that with the close, with the market recap show with LYFT, Brendo, misstating 50 basis points to 500 basis points, and the reversion that happened after.
Yeah, pretty crazy. It's worth noting more Fed speak to come today as well, starting at 9:30 with Goolsbee right at the market open. We'll get Barr then at the close at 4 o'clock, and then a little bit later on, Bostic making some comments as well. So a few things to make note of as we get going here, guys. Back to, or trying to get back higher after yesterday.
Trying to get back higher? Well, the market's definitely trying. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
One day.
I hope you gave your the ones you love some Bitcoin, because that would have been a good gift. We're pressing 50, okay, 52, it's so close. I'm just gonna say we're getting to 52 because we're pretty much right here. We were just talking about the pullback off 50,000 yesterday. Like yesterday you get CPI, the market tried to bounce off of an initial push, ends close to the lows. Bitcoin fails underneath 50,000. Felt like a pullback, like everything was dipping, ARM got squashed. There was so much negativity toward the end of the day, and then ho-hum, break out the tops again on BTC, and let's drag everything higher. So you know Mara's in play today, no question about it. We're going to be watching Mara pretty heavily, looking for some dip buys there. I got one kernel of weakness that I think I like for a fade that didn't report, and that's going to be based on yesterday. Micron, they're down 5%. They're still under some of those lows, but wow, like LYFT, I hope nobody got caught buying those tops. It did a lot of volume up around that 20 level, which is wild to me to make a mistake like that. But you know, if there were, like, they're not going to get fined for that. Like, it's crazy. Like, there was more volume in the late stages of the LYFT aftermarket rally than there was on the initial move up. Like, that's what's so messed up about that, is like there was way more people transacting up at the top than there were in the initial move, which stinks because now they're out of the money because LYFT made a mistake. Randy.
Yes, Randy, thank you so much. We requested it. See, my coffee's still half done, but it's always nice to get an early one. Can you turn this guy into a bull if you get a second?
No, not today.
All right, then I'll do
Sure about that?
Look at Lulu.
All right, then I'll do it. Look at Lulu. There's only one place
That's
I look at
very
Lulu,
specific.
guy.
That's very Lululemon.
I don't look at Lulu on the stock charts, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. All right, this is what it's all about for me today. It is going to be a happy Valentine's Day here. Fabian, immediately. Thank you. There it is. So thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to my wife. Whether or not she's in the chat or not, I have no idea. But there it is. I'll put one up with my daughter probably a little bit later. But this is where my mind is today, and it's Happy Valentine's Day for sure. We have hockey tonight, so we won't be taking any dates in an Uber. But we took an Uber on Saturday when we went on a date, so that was really nice. And then
tonight though?
No, we're not going.
It was
on
a
date.
strike.
Oh, there's a strike on.
Lyft, the Uber, DoorDash. There's apparently it's in the U.S., U.K., and here as well. There's supposed to be.
I guarantee you if I open up the app,
I'm sure it'll work. It's just keep an eye on it. I tell my wife, I'm like, yeah, well, it's gymnastics, so we always like order something in and do stuff on the weekend. But just to be careful. And of course, think about it. Lyft earnings, the strike is incoming. Uber with the perfectly timed buyback to make that the news cycle today instead of the strike.
Yeah, I mean, Uber and Lyft are together, right? So I think it's just great news for both. But I have on the sticky note here, we had a great experience. Like, we had a great experience with Uber. We always do. I don't know. I really like the company. I really like the stock. I've been buying this stock for a long time. Uber continues to work. This is going to be it is on my radar. I was looking at 73 possible for a pullback. But, I mean, if you didn't buy the market yesterday, I'm sorry, I didn't either. I mean, it looks like that pullback might be only one day. You were down, 1.7% on the NASDAQ yesterday? Probably back half of that by the time we open up. We were already almost up 1% here at the highs. Like, all these things just get bought back up. We saw yesterday off the open, buy rate back up, and then the fade during late afternoon. Let's see if we can hold some of these prices. But a happy Valentine's Day to anyone out there celebrating, and if you're not, happy Valentine's Day anyways. Uber's a nice move, that's for sure. We'll continue to watch that. We've got more on the list, man. I've got Uber, Lyft, Robinhood, Tesla. I like Google today. I like Softy at a couple levels. Ford had a move down yesterday. I think could be bought a little bit more today. I feel like this is a good rally day. We're going to watch a firm on Upstart. I mean, honestly, this is not as good as a day as there was one of the days last week when we had Roblox and all those, but this is another good day for earnings. So we'll be looking there as the SPY trying to dance around a little bit here, going lower.
I think Ford goes ex-dividend this week. So I'd watch.
Dividend's like 10 cents or something, isn't it?
It's not that big, but when it rallies into it, sometimes you get a little bit of a pullback. I mean, it's obvious. Everyone knows you're going to pull back when you go ex-dividend, but it's worth watching because Ford has been doing better than you think.
I was going to mention, we were just talking about Instacart, or I was going to mention Instacart, another one that reported here. Downside initially, ends up aftermarket yesterday higher, and then we're right back to basically flat on the day. But they pointed to challenges continuing when it comes to advertising specifically. Remember, they don't make money on delivering food. It's all about the advertising, in-store advertising for them. I saw this as well. ARM, 7%. Back upside after that huge sell-off yesterday. So semiconductors catching a bounce here as well. Yeah,
not surprised with the semis today, Brendo. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. But CART, their margins continue to get squeezed. They're announcing about cutting 7% of its workforce coming up in 2024 here, Brendo. So they continue to reel after that IPO.
Yeah, there's a store not far from us that I was at a couple weeks ago on the weekend that has those grocery carts with the screen built into the handle, so you can actually check a price or you can see where something is in the store. It's kind of gimmicky, I thought, but I don't know. It was fine.
This is one I don't think I'm that excited for, is Instacart. Like
5%.
Yeah, like it's down. It's down 5%. CTO and COO out, and one of the founders is leaving. Usually those aren't necessarily good things, but have a look. So the good news for Instacart is, talk about a very stable IPO. Like, it really hasn't done anything. It just kind of holds these levels down, 24, 25. So for me, well, if it's not trading up that very obvious support level down underneath 25 into 24, then what are you doing? It's like, wait for that. It tried to break out, couldn't do it. And then on earnings, it's making a pullback. So just wait around for that boring support level, or don't trade it, is the way that I would approach this. It's a bit strange when you see that kind of a level on a daily. When a stock does this, when the market's moving, it kind of screams accumulation to me. So there's somebody that on any weakness is buying buying this thing up. So maybe there's an acquisition coming. Who knows? I'm not saying there is, but it's a bit strange. But when you see it, wait for it to get to that bottom on Instacart. I mean, if there's anything in the space that we're looking at today, it's Uber and it's Lyft. I think that goes without saying. But yeah, it's a bit weird what it's doing at the bottom here. That usually means someone's accumulating shares.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't traded Instacart. I kept calling Instacart Ancart on the market.
Ancart.
So I was like, oh, Ancart is reported. Okay, so.
The funny thing is, if you weren't,
Yo, it's Raheem Alani
Raheem's
in the
house.
building. All right. You see that? See what I'm saying? He just said he wishes his wife was like that, you know?
As long as the kids do it, then that's all that matters. See, that's like, you get that
I don't
welcome.
think the kid does that yet, does he?
Oh, no?
He's like, hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, he says Dad, but he doesn't go, Raheem Alani's in the building. Anyways, all right. So in case you didn't know, Raheem's here, so that's really great to have Raheem here. What are we talking about today, Raheem? Mining stocks.
Bitcoin mining?
That's a lot different for you. Okay, so we're going to be really, not Bitcoin mining. Maybe today, Bitcoin definitely blasting off. But no, I was just going to have a quick look at Upstart. I mean, I thought Upstart was going to be a story, and it is. Obviously, I'm going to look at that 31 level as a possible fade. I mean, down 13% and not great, but right into here, $30, $31. I was thinking for a possible short into Upstart. In and around there somewhere. We're going to wait for it. See, we have those bottoms that 31 was holding. It had a huge whoosh down there yesterday. The stock was actually, I actually put it up on the market recap. I tweeted it out. We had Upstart live when it reopened, and I waited because traders stay late. We waited after the show was over at 4:35. Upstart came on and released their earnings yesterday right there, and there was the move down. So they had good earnings, but a horrible guide. So we'll wait to see what Upstart could do today. Down 13%, 41% short float, could rally this thing back into the 30s. But this is a name where you have to be completely patient. Like, do not average into this. Wait for a couple levels, see if you can hit them, and then hit the home run off that. Because if you average into something that has a huge short float, then, I mean, we learned our lesson with ARM. The same kind of thing with NVDA, which is not a short float, that's straight momentum. But you average into the short on those names, you can get absolutely crushed. So we'll look at Upstart. If Upstart really gets going, you know where I'm going to be looking?
Mara?
Yeah. I can affirm one thing is I'll be looking at Affirm.
You're going to look to start to build a position up in Upstart.
And I can affirm the short with Affirm.
It's true.
Confirm.
Confirm. No, you can say either.
I've been affirmed.
No, both those work, actually. You can confirm the short. You can also affirm that you want to be in the short position.
What I can confirm is that...
and we know English well, too.
Yeah, well, no.
We speak good English.
We spoke. All right, over to the desk. Raheem Alani is here. And,
Is he? No,
that's another thing we're really excited about. The market.
When did he get here?
I think he got it about 3 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
I think, something like
You know what? It's weird. I didn't notice that it happened. I guess I'm just not paying attention. Maybe someone should have said something when he got here.
Yeah, next time I'll try to recognize when he's
you should
here.
have said something.
All right, I'm going to get the sticky note out, but more important things are about to happen at the big desk.
We're getting his mic sorted out. It's not cooperating at the moment, but yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about mining and what's happening. There's a big conference coming up in the city in a few weeks. We'll touch on that and what that means for the overall industry. We'll talk about some of the metals that are going to be focused on here. You good?
This is what happens when I show up on a Wednesday.
I know, right? Like what? Like
Throws everybody all off.
it's just.
I just have to come and say Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Where do you want to go first here? Because it's one of those kind of moments in the market where people are looking at the golds and the silvers for where to park some money overall from a higher standpoint. We saw a big move down, the past couple of days for gold. What are your thoughts here as far as the overall market, first off?
So I think gold's going to be an interesting commodity simply because of the way that it ties directly to interest rates. There's some people have said, how do you tie gold with what's happening with Bitcoin, what's happening with interest rates? So it's thematically, where do you park your money? And it comes down to the safety of, your cash in interest-bearing items versus in gold, again, with that direct correlation. And then you've got Bitcoin, which went ballistic just been the last the last couple of weeks where it's gone from 40 to 50,000. So,
Yeah.
you know, just depending on your risk tolerance and your sort of economic perspective of gold tying directly to interest rates, gold will continue to have a strong move, and we've seen that how that's come into equities. And there have been a number of equities, again, like the larger producers, like the Barricks of the world, which will tie directly to the price of gold. And then for the audience out there that is into the smaller cap names, there's a number of those ones that will start to move up either on M&A traction or just on the fact that all ships rise.
Yeah, and I mean, from a bigger perspective here, you know, typically we get higher interest rates, a little bit of pressure on gold and some of the other metals coming along with that. Now that we're talking about interest rates going in the opposite direction, you know, we're seeing that reaction as well in those markets. As far as we've touched on, you know, some of the battery metals, we've touched on, you know, some of the associated metals with that. What are you seeing right now from a metals standpoint on what is popular?
Yeah, great question, and it is super interesting to see what's happening with like those associated metals. You know, we came on here last year at several points, I'm sure, and talked about lithium and how aggressive lithium has been, how many stocks have moved with the price of lithium, and just recently how lithium has taken a massive drop the other way. The same thing we've seen with nickel. It's a big commodity that people thought would tie directly into where all the battery metals are going. And nickel has now taken that turn down. So if you're on those two commodities, just be very cognizant of where global traction is going with those. The ones that are still kicking and doing quite well, uranium's had a very nice kick recently. We've seen a lot of the juniors as well, the ones that have interesting properties. Their stocks have started to move quite aggressively. And copper and zinc, like I've talked about this about 1,000 times, we're very bullish on copper and zinc. We believe copper and zinc to be the metals that you're going to need on the overarching, no matter where you view battery metals, EVs, phones, cars, whatever you think is going to happen in the future, copper and zinc are going to be two commodities I think are going to continue to move.
From a semiconductor, let's focus on that because it seems to be the hot topic around the market in general. If there's maybe one or two areas specifically tied to the semiconductor industry when it comes to metals that are included in those, what would those be?
Yeah, again, I think copper and zinc are going to be super important,
right?
Because all the infrastructure that's going to be built, whether you want to talk about semiconductors, whether you want to talk about charging stations, whether you want to talk about cars, phones, whatever it is, I think copper and zinc are going to be the big ones because the forecasts out to 2025 have them, you know, double, tripling in terms of value price.
All right, big conference coming up here in what is it? A few weeks, I guess.
10 days, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of weeks for the mining industry in general in Canada. Tell us about PDAC this year.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be an interesting conference. It is the biggest mining conference essentially in the world. So there's just a couple of small conferences that lead up to it, and then 75,000 people descend on the fine city of Toronto to come talk about mining and everything that's associated with it. So I think this year thematically, there'll be a lot of talk, like we just talked about, around critical minerals and where those commodities go, where those specific equities that are tied into those equities, into those commodities go. And also there's gonna be, I think, a theme around which countries are gonna be more viewed favorably. Like I said, Canada has just recently announced more spending in the critical minerals space. There's gonna be more talk around other South American countries. The US is spending a lot of money from governmental side into certain countries. And there are certain African countries that also tie in well on the critical minerals side. And then technology. The Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos backed Cobalt just announced a couple of days ago using their AI technology, they found what they believe to be the third largest copper deposit in the world in Zambia. And so we'll see if that technology play starts to come in as well.
Is this a type of conference for someone who's never heard of this before? Is this a type of conference where you typically get those types of announcements from individual companies, or is it more an industry type of event?
Yes, to both. It is, yes, exactly, check, and check. A lot of people will make announcements during the week leading up to that conference so that they have stuff to talk about during the conference. People will be announcing things, again, during the conference as well, because everyone is sort of there together. So, for instance, and the reason that I'm not here next week, I'm on the board of a mining company that we've talked about, and I'm traveling next week to go look at a couple of the properties, and we're hoping, based on the back off of that, we'll have some news. So like I said, we want to be geared up, like most mining companies, be geared up to what's happening in 12 days.
Amazing. Enjoy Spain.
Thank you.
I hope it's warm.
I hope so too.
Rahim Alani is Managing Director of OCI Groups in Toronto. Good to see you.
Here, guys.
for Spain. Enjoy it, Raheem. We got to do one of those. Like we did it last time when you were basically at the hotel. We've had Raheem when he's at the beach. I feel like we had him when he was at the beach, or we tried to.
I don't remember Raheem at a beach, but
I don't think there's a reason why we can't bring him on when he's in Spain. At least make us feel warmer. It's like minus 14 degrees here today after an unusually warm last couple of weeks. It's getting a little bit colder here, so we hope the markets can heat things up like they did yesterday. Obviously, you got to pay attention. We've talked about like some of the metals before. Whether you're a gold person or not. Sorry, I was going to get to Shopify in a second, but whether you're a gold person or not, I think there's just this overall sentiment that you want to have some protection, in the metals. Some people say Bitcoin, some people say silver. I think silver is an interesting story because of the way it's manipulated, and gold as well. But when you talk about the metals that are in use, like the coppers and the zincs, like those are commodities that are vastly different. Like we're not talking about how we're using Bitcoin, and we're not talking about how we're using gold, but we can talk about how these things are used in semiconductors, and we can talk about how they're used in EVs. And I think that makes them a little bit different of a mentality. Now, we don't trade them, but this is why we have Raheem on here, so that you can get a different perspective outside of just us talking about big cap tech. I did want to mention something about Shopify because it is starting to go, and I want to revise my plan a little bit here on Shop. We keep talking about day 2 and day 3 plays on earnings, and this one, the play was going to be very obvious, 77 double bottom. Look longs off 77. It's going to be SSR because it's continuation after being 10% down yesterday. So I'm gonna look at the 78 for a little bit of a dip buy here in Shopify. You just got to be able to make the adjustment. Like when I sit down, it's at 78 with a double bottom at 77. Now it's breaking out 79s. It's already at almost at 79.5. So just making a bit of an adjustment for myself there on Shopify.
yeah, thanks, Raheem, for all of that. I mean, if you guys are ever interested in getting any mining information, I mean, Raheem Alani is a great asset, OCI Group. Go check it out. Yeah, I like that Shopify move back into that support down there at 77, 78 bucks. I mean, that's a great support level there on the chart. So we'll look at Shopify. We'll look at a bunch of day 2 plays as well. I was actually thinking about Snapchat on like a day 5 or 6 play here. We broke through that 1150 at one point there. We had a nice trade when that happened right here. No, a couple days ago right here. I can't really remember what sparked that, but this was a big trade that we had on board. It was like the #1 name on the sticky note that day, breaking through 1150, and then I was just looking at it again, and I was like, wait a second, now we're below that. Obviously, we didn't have a great day yesterday with Snapchat, but this is another one of those names where maybe, again, I don't want to see that right here, like another kind of a break on Snapchat, maybe 1140-ish today for that name. Obviously gets hit yesterday, bounces off 11, finds a little bit of support there. So Snapchat could be another one of those names. It's not on the sticky note. The sticky note is out now, but now not only do you have one of me, you have 2 of me. So I apologize for that one. All right, it's it's fine for me.
Why are you apologizing?
I'm apologizing to the crowd, to the viewers. One of me is enough, and then they just had 2. All right, ARM is actually, you know what, man? ARM is
what's it doing?
Back up to 133. I mean, it's taking out day's high right now. Wow. ARM Holdings is just really on a nice little move just in the last 5 minutes from 128. Busted up $4 or $5. Now let's see what happens with ARM today. This should be another really exciting day for this name. Look at it get clocked yesterday down to 118. Now a nice little move back to the upside. So ARM Holdings just continues to be quite exciting. And happy Valentine's Day to you too, Sebastian, and everybody out there in the lovely world of day trading. So, all right, let's go back over and we will discuss the watch list and the rundown and whatever everybody wants to over at the big desk.
All right, we're going to get to some analyst moves here for you to kick things off this morning with Adara upgrades and downgrades whenever she's ready over at the screen.
LYFT here getting an upgrade after its earnings from MoffettNathanson. This one's certainly an interesting earnings story with regards to its EBITDA margin projections here. Citi getting an upgrade and trading a bit higher here. Piper Sandler giving that upgrade. RBC Capital Markets upgrading Enphase. And last but not least here, HP getting an upgrade from HSBC Securities. In terms of downgrades, another recent earnings name here, Airbnb getting a downgrade from DA Davidson. Twilio reporting tonight, ahead of that, getting a downgrade from HSBC Securities. HSBC also downgrading Palantir here, and Ulta Beauty getting a downgrade from Loop Capital, guys.
You're allowed to be on camera.
We're talking about
You have a
Super Bowl.
microphone.
We're talking to Raheem's one. Soon's going to be sponsoring one of these segments, so appreciate that.
That was pretty nice.
Appreciate that. Just found out. All right, Palantir downgraded?
What?
I mean, what? What?
What?
You know what? I got to put this hat on. I got to figure out what's going on with Palantir. I mean, you're downgrading Palantir. It's up 1%.
The hat.
Alice Carper's saying no to that downgrade,
The
baby.
hat.
How about double what the market is saying right now? Palantir. No, I have to find out what's going on. I saw it on there and I was like, oh, what? It's got downgraded. Palantir with a great move yesterday, all the way down. And then it's similar to Tesla. It's why Tesla's on the sticky note today as well. If you're going to drop down and then start to support a level from yesterday, then give us something like that. I feel like Palantir, if it's going to get hit on a downgrade, is probably a buy right in and around here where we supported yesterday. That's 23.80, 20. I mean, I don't want to try 24. So I've been really thinking about a lot, recently. I'm such an idiot. But the thing is that why would you average into something all the way down only to find out if you're right or wrong at a certain level? The best strategy would be, especially on a downgrade like this where you're uncertain of what's going on, let the market fall down. There's one thing if it's earnings and you want to get long and you're averaging into a position, okay? Maybe different, or I don't know, there's some kind of a catalyst other than a random downgrade that seems to be doing nothing to the stock. I don't need to play that game. So if I'm not going to start at 24, I'm going to start here at 23.80. Using a reasonable out in and around here of 23.50. That way, even if we have 1,000 shares or something, it's a $300 hit. It's not, you can come back into a level that is respected, and if that breaks, then fine. But to average in all the way down, only to get stopped out. If you got stopped out yesterday at 23.50, sure, it wicks down to 23.30. You're looking pretty smart. But then this is 1 minute, and this is right off the open. So this example is extreme. But sometimes a level will break, the wick will happen, and then this will happen. And you'll be like, oh, man, this happens to me every day, not sometimes. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, wow, I was long right here. It happened yesterday on NVIDIA to the short. But if you just wait for that ultimate level, then when it breaks, you're taking a 5-cent hit, a 10-cent hit instead of a 30-cent hit. So I don't know if anything caught your eye there on the upgrades and downgrades. We love Ulta Beauty.
Ulta Beauty getting a downgrade when it's been a rocket ship. So I guess it was HSBC that was deciding to slap downgrades on a bunch of stuff that's been performing well. Maybe there's a method to that. They're just if they feel like the things are getting top heavy, I suppose. But anyways, this is exactly the kind of company that if and when we actually get a pullback in the market of a 10% or whatever it might be, these are the kind of things that you want to try to sink your teeth into. I've never gotten a chance to own them. I think I traded it once when Mark Roberts was talking about it. This was way back in pandemic when people were, it was the whole, as people are going to start getting back out, oh, what's the first thing they were going to do?
Right.
And,
yeah.
And so Ulta did really well, and it was a monster.
This is a big Jim Cramer stock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cramer likes it as well. So there you go. But these upgrades and downgrades sometimes give you an opportunity for something that you might have wanted anyways. If you pull back almost 10%, you get the 50 period on this one, which was already a previous big level. And there was a comment in the chat, which is technically true, that I don't think you guys have never seen Sharif and Raheem in the building at the same time. But I can confirm that they are not the same person.
They don't even look alike.
They don't look. There was a comment came in the chat.
Why? Because they're brown. This is.
I'm the comment came in the chat. Well, what it really is that it's about the well-dressed nature of.
I was gonna say Sharif's arm is the same size as Raheem's head.
And Raheem, they tend to look. Obviously, we know they dress better than us. We kind of I just throw on whatever.
I disagree.
I throw on whatever the heck I want to.
Yeah, I feel like I dress They're just pretty good.
I shouted out to Sharif and Raheem for always like classing up the joint. Brendan, of course, as well.
Sharif, we'll go to Sharif. Sharif, what's the first thing I said to you this morning?
The shirt.
Said really nice black shirt, Sean. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. As you guys can tell, it's ironed and well done and everything. Right?
I'm still trying to pay Raheem to tell us where he gets his clothes from, but he won't tell me. He legit will not say.
You gotta hide the trade secrets, Brendo.
I don't know. First 30 minutes of the show brought to you by Hedgeye. CEO Keith McCullough's proven signaling model uses price, volume, and volatility to predict the stock's likely daily trading range. 81% of Hedgeye's real-time alerts were winners in 2023. Go to hedgeye.com/TTV for 66% off. Shout out to our friends over at Hedgeye. I saw a few people talking about, just before we get to the futures here, I saw a few people talking about this Vizio, huge move yesterday on that Walmart note. I haven't seen anything additional to that, but we are still sitting here this morning. Not a lot of volume, just under $10 for that VZIO this morning as well. Okay, let's get to look at the futures here. Sharif will lead us off.
49.71, guys. That's where we closed off yesterday. The overnight high, 5,075. So let's go ahead and say we got to get through that 5,000 level here on the ES to clear that clear resistance level to the downside. Let's say 49.50 support.
If you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. Super easy. Go to the QR code on your screen right now, or watchlist.tradertv.live will get you there as well. Enter your email address, and then you get the watch list every single morning right to your inbox. There was an alert there on coin again, but I guess it was just coming back through 150. I don't even see any volume. Let's go to Airbnb to kick things off. Downside this morning. Numbers actually not bad right across the board, but again, this is starting to become a trend. They were talking about the forecast going forward, feeling like we might get a bit of a slowdown.
Yeah, look, Brendo, they reported a net loss. It's an adjusted net loss, so it looks like it's a one-time encumbrance here, bringing down profitability, but they beat on revenue. Revenue actually increased 17% year over year. The guidance was decent. It was within the range, 2.03 billion to 2.07 billion in revenue for the next quarter. But like I mentioned on How to Trade yesterday, I feel that there is a headwind coming for this company because there are cities that are taking actions against Airbnbs and limiting its supply. We already saw that in New York. We're looking to see what the court cases in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Miami are going to do, Brendo.
You were talking about people getting very upset in your building about this very topic recently. So yeah, I mean, people have different opinions across the board. But I mean, condos in this city generally have rules around it not being allowed, depending on the building that you're in as well.
Mine, minimum 6-month lease.
Yeah, same.
I can use them. I'll be. We're doing an Airbnb when I go to spring training. We do it every single year. But I do share some of your concerns there, Sharif, when you were mentioning about supply potentially, and you know even maybe demand. I think could come into play if there's anything to potential weakness later on in the year in the labor market. But hey, today the 50-period moving average is the jam, I suppose, for Airbnb. I think I have a better chance of a day two play on Shopify than I do at finding something that's a great setup on Airbnb. But you do have the 142. That's the 50-period on the daily. So if it were to pop down in there, try to look for an early bounce. Outside of that, I don't know, like would I fade 150? If there was nothing else happening and this stock were to run to an even 150 level, which was the bottom in the afternoon yesterday, that could be a level. But you know, I pull that 142 up. That's a significant price level. If I don't get to interact off of that, it doesn't have to be a trade. The good thing about, and why we talk about day 2 and day 5 plays like Snapchat, is you know, if you find a bottom somewhere else on Airbnb today and tomorrow, then suddenly on Friday you could have yourself a trade. So you always keep these ones up, even if you don't trade them on the first day. Sometimes what they show you is even more important than what you trade on the first day after earnings.
Yeah, no, you know, without looking at, we didn't really trade Shopify yesterday. I feel like Airbnb again, you know, nice move up, obviously as it was released. Then the fade all the way back down. You're still at the 50-period moving average. We always talked about buying stuff that's at the 50. So you're right there right now. I don't know. I was in this name and I'm out of this name. Like I'm not in it anymore. We've talked about this a little bit. If I am, it's pretty small. I'll have to go look. I always try to like hold on to a little bit. Like we got out of some Uber, but we're still in it, thank God, but not that much. So again, I don't know. I don't really like all the talk, like what Sharif and Brennan were talking about there. I just feel like a simple change in policy by various, condo boards or states or anything like that could definitely change the, the vision of Airbnb. I still think that they have a huge user base, daily active users, bookings, everything is good. It's just, I feel like there is a political headwind here or something. I don't know exactly, but I'd rather be in other travel names. That's all. And yeah, I think it's pretty hard. I know there's Vrbo and a few different other things like that I've quite frankly never used. But again, I feel like Airbnb is like the Uber. Everybody else can just kind of try to play catch up to them, but I'd rather be in Uber and apparently now Lyft, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, for travel names, Airbnb just has too much uncertainty, I feel like, around policy and things like that. So for me, I'm gonna stay away from it. If you wanna buy it, I mean, I can't blame you. You're at the 50-period moving average down in around 140. So you could buy it now against 140. I think you'll be fine and it'll probably work.
The one positive, Sean was mentioning VRBO there. The one positive I found with VRBO is that you don't have to select an entire place. Like, on Airbnb, you can, some people like try and rent out a room in a place and you have to select the entire house or the entire condo or whatever. On VRBO, they're all entire properties.
Right, that's their differentiating point. Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, I thought it was positive. Anyway, let's go on. Lyft and Uber here. Lyft's results we'll get to in a second. This, though, pretty positive for Uber across the board. $7 billion buyback announced. They're profitable for the first entire year for the first time. So both of these catching a nice bounce here this morning.
Yeah, it's a great move, guys, but it's still 80%, trading 80% lower than its IPO price. So that is a bit of a discount there. Look, they met expectations on the top line. They beat on the bottom line. Metrics are up year over year. Total rides increased 26%. Gross bookings increased 17%. But the blunder yesterday is really what we're looking at here. He said 500 basis points increasing in margin, so about 5%. It was really 0.5%, so 50 basis points. Just have a look at the chart aftermarket, that big V-shaped retracement.
Yeah, that would be a lot, 500 basis points all at once. Huge move, though, back to 74.75 here, as you guys are mentioning, for Uber.
Cash flow positive, they're saying for the first time this year is the expectation. That's always a good thing. Look, I'm not going to wax poetic and give you all the reasons why we think Uber is probably a better long-term play. That's just been true for a long time, and stock price reflects that, and the chart reflects that enough. Now, hopefully, we said, hopefully nobody's caught up at that top. It is unfortunate when a mistake like that gets made when people are actively trading, and all that happened is the one thing that's the worst about that is all of the volume. It was so much volume at the top. It was more volume at the top than it was on the initial move, and that's what would concern me as the stock is opening up. I know it pulled back in heavily, but there was a lot of people that got caught, and I don't wonder if that could provide some tension for this, for what could have been a possible solid run here on Lyft. So I'm staying away from Lyft. It never was as liquid anyways as Uber. Let's be real. If you've been trading, it's like trading Li Auto instead of Neo, for lack of a better comparison, or maybe Xpeng. You just usually pick the one with better liquidity. Uber, they're doing a buyback. Anything that's positive for Lyft is going to be good for Uber. I know there's that potential strike today, but the buyback is a cherry on the top of this great Valentine's Day cupcake. Fresh highs. And when you make a breakout, I like to dip into the previous resistance level. So whether that's 73 or whether that's 72, it doesn't really matter. I just want to play the first dip at the open when it holds one of those levels. Now, do you always get the bottom? I'd rather miss it on the way down to try to catch it on the way back up, but I like the Uber long always in the previous resistance levels that turn into some support.
All right, first of all, a happy Valentine's Day one more time to you and your loved ones. This is mine right there. If we go over, thank you so much. If we go over to my profile, though, and zoom back in a little bit here. I have Uber on the sticky note today. I did 73 long, but the thing is that it might not get to that. We talked about that. Lyft with a great quarter, might have to hammer that 75 long. So we'll wait out to see if that happens, but we've just talked about it. I really like this trade here today. I think Uber could be the one. You know, it's got, what? My chart didn't change from Airbnb? Okay, there it is. So there's a $75 top. I mean, I don't know. I guess his top is really 75, 10, something like that. But either way, I feel like that's a good one. We always talk about when there's a pop, play the VWAP. So we'll see if there's a problem there. It's gap, VWAP, pop, VWAP. So I've kind of changed that a little bit. But anyway, 73.50 looks like it wants to hold. I'm bidding 73 right now in case we get a flush like we almost got. We got to 73.50 there. As you can see, the market is also bouncing. Uber, congrats. I mean, let's just put it this way, man. It's just a big congratulations to anybody that's still long this name. I mean, I thought the run could have been stopped right around here when this is where I got out. Most of my shares, I already mentioned that. I mentioned it when I got out. So when we had that pop into the year end, into the inclusion, into the S&P 500, then we had a fade out there at the beginning of January, and I thought I was pretty smart because, again, you know, the fade happened. I was like, okay, a lot of the move up was probably due to the inclusion, but then obviously it hits the 50-period moving average like a lot of names have, and then gone right back to the upside. Let's see, Shopify could be another one of these examples that does something like this next. But for right now, I really like Uber, and I guess people are liking it now as well as it's starting to get back up to that $75 mark. I feel like it's definitely a punch long up there, and I'll probably regret not doing it. But again, you know, if this market fades, then there's going to be some tops put in today. And yesterday was not a great day for the market on a turnaround there on a 0.1 difference on CPI, which is kind of crazy. But there's Uber right here. Uber is a buy into the morning, but not a huge one. What's up with that, says Fubo. Right now, 100,000 share buy. The one name that I guess people are talking about that's going crazy is this database, DTSS. Shout out to everybody yelling at us there in the chat. I mean, this stock is only up 600%. Was up to $11 again, DTSS. And what is
1.2 million float, and they had earnings.
Yeah, so the story here is DTSS first half revenue there a lot higher, over 1,000% year over year increase in revenue. Whenever you read this on the Benzinga, green, 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 everywhere. Go find out the story here, but it looks like, as Neil mentioned, there's low float name with a big earnings report coming through there for database. But nice move up there. Looks like it wants to continue the play. I always say you look for, like, you know, the past area where we jumped off, but I mean, if it comes screaming down here, we'll halt, and then that'll be an interesting thing. So wait to see what happens here off open, but another low float name. Congrats if you caught this name at like 7 a.m., man. I mean, it was baselining, the report comes out, and then boom goes the dynamite straight there to the upside. So I feel like even after reading the report, you're probably long in and around here, maybe a $6 break back up. But anyways, 950 DTSS. Wow, we thought stocks were having meta moments. This is having a nuclear moment.
HKD moment.
I was just noting, yeah, 1.4 million on that one as well. DTSS, 11 million versus 100,000 expected.
Wow.
That's not bad. Let's talk about Robinhood here. To the upside we go this morning through that higher. It's trying to get through that high once again, 1350. If you go back to the end of last year, essentially, December levels coming into play here for Robinhood. You and I discussed the last earnings report from this company. The simple fact that so much of this income that they were generating was on the interest side of things. Still there, higher than I think most would like from the interest side of things, but trading volumes and revenue from trading back up as well.
And that's as a direct result of crypto, guys. Really, crypto interest has helped fuel the trading volumes again on Robinhood that had really dropped off the past 2 years. They've had to really rely more on making money from margin borrowing. So you borrow from the broker in order to buy equities or whatever, and you pay interest on that. That's how they've been making money. Let's look at the data. They beat on the top and bottom line, so it was a beat there. Their average revenue per user ARPU continues to grow 23% year over year, Brendo. So good luck here for them. Let's see if they can continue it.
Yeah, it struggled early on this morning with that aftermarket high yesterday, guys, but still up huge for Hood.
Yeah, I'd say it's looking good under the hood.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
I don't know. But if it breaks 14, then there's going to be some shorts that are, yeah, it's not going to be a happy day for the shorts if this is holding a bit above $14. You can see it on the daily chart. You can call it, I saw in the chat there, 13.6 from Thomas W. I mean, you got a bunch of wick highs. I would almost say it's already breaking above all of the significant volume levels once you're here at the 13.5. If it can just hold this at the open, really, if it can hold this and sort of take out this mess, then I think it's got the chance to get to 14 and continue. So I don't know that it's an obvious 1360 break. I can't say anything too obvious about that. But if it holds the bid above this 13.4 level, which was that highest open or close price on the daily chart, then I think you've got a good chance at a run. And if it can't hold that and start putting in higher lows, I probably don't trade it. Like I'd rather be trading this for a squeeze than trying to pick a pullback here on Robinhood and trying to short it. So if it does hold that 13.4, give you the stair step to the upside, $14 break can be in play today. That's it's a couple percentage points away. But until we get there, I'd like to hope that there can be like a stair step upside into the 14 break. But I mean, that's going to be low-hanging fruit. I think a lot of people are looking at that. Surprise profitability. They still have a somewhat decent short float. Oh, I just had that DTSS stock up.
Yeah.
Robinhood is 8% actually now.
7,
so it's decent. That's enough that if it gets going, that it can get a little extra oomph on a 14 break.
Yeah, we wrote the same thing down. We have 1385, basically the pre-market high right here. Great report with a 7% short float. It's again, it's the number 2 name on the sticky note, so Uber and Robinhood. Normally we don't trade earnings releases, but Uber's not one, and then Robinhood is one. But again, I really like it. I really like the look. I like these names when we're in and around 52-week highs. And Robinhood is right there right now. Its 52-week high is 1350. Looks like we're going to be wrong early on this thing trying to go back to the upside. So again, on earnings, this is why we talk about this, right? Like on earnings, I mentioned it with Palantir. There's no point in me saying like, let's buy $13. Like it looks like it's good down here into 1260 to 13. There's some, definitely some gathering there, and then the breakout. So building some momentum, breaking out. If that ever happened in the middle of the day, that'd be great. But again, it's just consolidation is kind of what we're looking for. So we did consolidate here, but now we're ticking down a little bit with the market. Randy was hesitant to turn this thing into a bull. I was fine with doing that. We are getting ready to look at VWAP here, so we have to think about this trade. I already have the order to break this. So if we go through 1385, I will be long. But I'm actually wondering, is it better to be more conservative possibly? That's conservative because you're waiting. I guess it's more aggressive, to take 1370. But then you're not punching the top and you're giving it some room there. So that would be one thing. Let's stick with what we're trying to do. Let's try to break this top at 1385 and be right about it. So that's going to be a big trade. And then I feel like if we break 1385 but don't hold this 1370, that this is that strategy that I'm talking about. Let's just get out for 15 cents, 20 cent hit, and then wait to see what happens. But I think Robinhood is worth the aggressive play here today. Its 52-week high is 1351.
Right here.
So we're here. That's it right there. We're here to try to go. So let's see. That's $12, $13.50. Let's see if Robinhood wants to go. You can get more aggressive and try to play something on a more aggressive or more recent break of 1370. I'm going to wait for that high. I want to just check on Disney quickly here. We're getting
break
on in time.
112, baby.
Yeah, like it's probably not going to break 112 today, but again, a really aggressive move. We for some reason had this. Oh, damn that wick. Okay. We had this down here yesterday at like 108, 109 and it ripped. And I was like, wow, okay, Disney's strong. We got out really early. I feel like we only took like 70 or 80 cents somewhere. But anyways, Disney finishes the day at highs. You didn't see many stocks doing that yesterday. They might have finished with a nice rally, but definitely not back to where they were off open.
That fat finger trade I made to sell Disney on your chart there.
Yeah, good thing you told me about it because I went long there at 96.
That's painful. I'm glad.
Why don't you tell me you were pushing it all the way to
96.
95, man? I was bidding 98 and got long.
Well, a few extra zeros when you hit the sell key, and then that happens.
Yeah, that So that's a bad week. We're just
We're joking around.
we're just playing around. But that would be nice if Disney crashed and then we could be able to buy that. And then went way back up. I don't want to.
Actually, I had this conversation with Sharif this morning about LYFT and when trades get broken or not broken. I was once involved in a trade break when I was trading penny stocks. Like I got somebody in the pre-market filled me at a ridiculous price.
Right.
And I remember the instruction that we got from the risk manager was do not cover it because they could break the trade.
Right.
Because if I had gotten out of the trade, they'd break my entry and then my cover would have still been live and I could have been out of the money on the cover. But they're not breaking the LYFT stuff, but those are just
But that actually is a good point. If you ever get like an erroneous fill that you think is way outside the money, before you get out of it, make sure that you at least contact your broker and figure that out. Because if you're long and then you get out of something and then they break the long, then you have to deal with a potential short or I don't know, every broker is going to be a little bit different, but definitely check out with yours.
I didn't cover, you know who did.
That's
why I remember the lesson. It was
what was the stock? Do you remember?
It was a rando penny stock.
Oh, okay.
We were trading it in the pre-market. Some I was going to say some idiot, but like somebody fat fingered it.
Yeah.
It was like say a 25-cent stock, and we got filled at like 10 or 15 or something ridiculous. It made absolutely no sense at like 8.
Nowadays, I feel like that would make sense because these stocks are moving everywhere.
And if you covered it, you were covering 20s, and you're out of money 20% at the open. But let's get back to the desk, because what's up with Upstart?
Ooh. Nothing. Today, specifically, downside in a big way here. It was the guidance, once again, for UPST under big-time pressure. 15.5% right now to the downside.
Look, Brendo, they beat on the top and bottom line, but the expectations were really low because revenue was down actually 4.5% year over year. But like you said, the guide here was well below what the market was looking for with respect to revenue. The market was looking for about $125 million in revenue. They're guiding somewhere along the lines of 75 with respect they're guiding 125. The street was looking for 152. With respect to profitability, they're guiding around $34 million, but they're actually going to lose about 75. So a bit of a tough look here for them.
Yeah, 25 ends up being a bit of a level here, guys. But is there a trade here, you think?
20. I wasn't really thinking 25 on a Huadunk bounce. I was really thinking like 23, but it's already bounced a lot. I know it's down 15%, but it's already bounced a lot. So the first thing I'm looking at is this 30 level. Previous support, maybe into a resistance. So if it gets up there again, maybe you can fade it. But when it's 42% short float and down 15%, the first thought is an SSR bounce. The problem with that is I like it off of a defined low. So I don't know if we get a chance to play off of something that's already set up like the 25 level. Maybe it'll show us something at the open for an SSR type bounce. Otherwise, if it's close to the 30, that's a previous support that I'd want to take a shot shorting. So maybe it dips again. I might have to sit this one out. This is why I got Shopify kind of lined up off that 77. Sometimes it's a day 2 play that gives you the more clear entry, but it is going to be short sell restricted today, and that means it'll be short sell restricted tomorrow as well. And 42% short float and down 15% usually gives you an opportunity for some kind of a bounce.
All right. There was just some talk there about not everyone. Someone mentioned where's Arun, and I was just saying, like, I haven't seen that guy trade for a minute. He was on the show about 6 months ago when he came back from his trip. But I haven't seen that guy trade in forever. And then someone asked me about his trading account. We don't comment on other traders' performance other than when I yell people out behind us because I'm proud of them. And those are just beginning traders. So obviously, you know, if he's not around, you guys can figure it out. But all right, Upstart. Look, $31. I don't have any problem shorting it in and around there. The problem with Upstart is that 41% short float. We talked about that over and over again. I'm just not convinced that it's going to hold. Like, we could blast all the way up. Like, it was not a great report. Well, actually, their current numbers were fine. The guide wasn't where it needed to be. But Upstart, again, it's not really even at support levels. You have to get down into $20 before we really start thinking about supporting this name. So for me, it's kind of a no-fly zone here on that. Like, I'd much rather trade a I was talking about Snapchat and a Robinhood, where you get a little bit more excitement in the play, and we can sort of guide with some levels. I don't really have any on Upstart until 31. I was just going to say Affirm and Upstart are very, very similar. They're not, but they have similar short floats, you know, and they kind of are in financing, new age financing, you know. This is buy now, pay never. We already know what Affirm's all about. But right there, $39, $40, that could be another level there. Upstart, of course, finances, venture capitalists, and everything like that. It's a little bit of a different thing. Okay, one name here that just went down and then just went up. I mean, there's a nice move for Hood. Hood came all the way back into some of this level again right now. So it looks like we may have had a base. We were talking about trying to find a stock that would base out. Robinhood might have just done something like that in and around 1340. I'm still, see, did you guys just see my screen flicker there? Yeah, okay, good. But anyways, yeah, I saw Fabian was like, yes, and it doesn't matter. 1340 there, maybe a bottom for Robinhood. We're still looking at 1385 breakout. Let's go talk about semis because they only go up.
Again today, yeah, after a bit of a wild day to start yesterday, we still ended for, here's AMD, positive on the session. We end up gapping up this morning right across the board. I mean, when it comes to charts, Sharif has a better one that we were just discussing. In less than a month, SMCI has done things.
I'm just going to leave this here for you guys to look at. This is the daily chart on SMCI, guys. Already up 4% today. Just by way of, you know, just to put things into context, on January 19th, Brendo, we were trading at $325. We just reached $824. So yeah, let's leave that for you there.
Is it ARM or is it another one that could be the next one here, guys?
The next one.
The next one? I mean, we're not.
I think
SMCI is not done with.
SMCI has a really good chance to go up.
Look at that chart. So I'm
going to make a crazy call. I think SMCI can go up like 150% in like 7 days.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. It's already happened?
Nothing rational.
What day is it? No. The next one. So SMCI, I'm not even going to look at it, honestly, because...
Well, that's my chart, guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at SMCI. It's up another 4%. It's fantastic, and it's great. And I don't know what to do with it. We don't really trade. The spread is quite big. If you like it, it's just not for me because like you have to take like 50 shares or 10 shares or something on that one. Look, ARM, I still want to short this name. I don't care that it's up 12%. It doesn't really matter to me. I just want to wait for a base to happen. And I'm thinking that ARM could be, again, in and around this 150 now is going to be something, I feel like. So let's wait for that. If you waited for that last time, you got $15 in your face before it finally stopped. But you could see we did have some talk in and around 150 with the high being around 154. We did have a huge move up there into that area. So I feel like if you're going to do anything with ARM, 154 is probably the line in the sand. Like if you're short, you probably don't want to be short in over 154, 155. The only other name that I wrote, I don't have any names on here. That's a chip name, but a name that I like that's kind of in the AI space. The original AI play possibly was Google. But again, I just like that 144 area that we've built off of the last couple days. And anything, and it's the same thing with Tesla. I like 182 on Tesla. I like 144 here on Google. If we crapped in yesterday off the open and we bounced off 144, then we bounced off 144 again, I could zoom this back out as many times as you want. 144 is key. It's the same thing with Tesla here at 182. You don't need to be that cute with this. There's the dip down yesterday. The sky was falling. Everybody was wondering what was going on. There's 182 holding. It's held for the whole month. It's held for the whole year pretty much after earnings. And then 182 held again in that bottom into the close. So like there's some good trades here catching falling knives. So I feel like there's going to be two names we want to do that. They're not earnings plays. They're Google and they're Tesla. And I like those levels.
And I got one chip name that I like. Ooh, you're in the double shot again there. To the south side. That's what we were shorting in the afternoon yesterday. Micron was down 5%. The stock is underneath the 50-period moving average. It's rejecting the top end of a channel that's been there for 1 year. The other thing is, while everything is gapped up, yes, it's also gapped up, but it is not gapped up over the resistance that we're shorting off of yesterday. That's the 83 levels. That gives the 83. Then you have the 830 sort of rejection on CPI at 84. So that gives me two very clear levels to play the short. And why I say that I like this one to the south side, it's all about relativity, like relative strength and weakness. Like look at AMD, like look at the gap up. It's above all of the levels, like at the 830 level, the previous high, previous close. It's above all of that. If it's back underneath, that's a different story. The last one I always talk about, Intel actually could be on my long radar today. 43 would be obvious. I'm missing some data here. 43 would be obvious, but I like this 43.5 level. If it dips, holds that bid, and the market can take 17.8, then the stairs up can work on Intel. When the market reversed yesterday, the only long I found was the Intel long. Well, I missed the NVIDIA long, but found the Intel long. I'm going to try to do the same thing. If we get a stair step up, Robinhood made a run, but has pulled back into 13.6. It almost got to 14. In 3, 2, and 1, ring it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was at 1380. It was at 79.
All right, we've got our orders ready to go for Robinhood to go back up to the
it
upside
broke
as the
it.
U.S. market. Yeah, exactly. As the U.S. markets are now open, Robinhood's open as well. We'll wait to see if we get a fill somewhere on here as it's starting to rip around a little bit on Robinhood. My Uber does not fill, so that sucks. As Uber is now way up, man.
75.
I punched 20 cents higher. My bid is still in there for Uber at 75.15 right now. So let's see if it comes back in. But wow, holy crap, we would have been monstrous already, but we don't have it. So, all right, we'll have to buy some dips, I guess, on Uber. Shoot, like as if that happens, man. I punched long at 75.15. It just did not come in. All right, we just got long something. All right, so I did buy a little bit of Uber where we are right now. That's Uber, obviously, we just got in. We'd still want to wait for that 75 fill if it does come back into somewhere around there. But there goes shit, man. We were only trying 500 shares long, but I mean, it would have been a nice little $500 winner, so that sucks. But okay, let's see what happens here now with Uber going back up to the upside as Randy's pondering the meaning of life over there, I see. All right, shit. All right, we'll run it right there, but that's the... Sometimes you don't get the fills, guys. Like, honestly, if you're rocking with the sticky note, it's Uber right here at 75. It was nowhere near 75 until the market opened, and it screamed right up. Like, I mean, we were down here at 1 minute before the market opened, we were at 74. It screamed up there. Unfortunately, we missed that. Huge move up for Uber. Congratulations. Wish we had it. Now on to Hood.
Yeah, Robinhood is making that run to the
Damn
upside
you,
here.
Uber, honestly.
It wants to make the break. It took 80s, it took 85s. It's actually gotten to 90 on the top. I'm going to go for the dip buy. If it held 13.4 at the open, and then I wanted long in front of that, so I'm now in the 50s. If it breaks 14, it breaks 14. The thing about, we talked about this when you cross. Like if 14 breaks, like I'm probably going to cross less than 10, like 7, 8 cents, something like that. Sometimes you miss. I missed NVIDIA yesterday. An extra couple of cents on your limit order can guarantee that fill sometimes or give you a better shot at it. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Another earnings name here, definitely nowhere near that 60% pop on the incorrect EBITDA margin expansion forecast here, but up almost 30% now is LYFT. LYFT still provided a nice earnings beat there on LYFT, guys, to the upside.
We're just cranked in there. We did not sit there and take that 75. Remember, we don't necessarily want things on the way back up. We were trying to play momentum break there on Uber. So we'll buy those dips, man. We buy the 74.40 there, and we're just going to wait for it now. So like I said, this is why, like when it was ripping up, we're like, damn it, we would have been out. Like that was a good trade. But there it goes right back up to the upside. Okay, Uber, I see you, Uber. All right, so let's go. Maybe we get back up there and then we can have a good trade after all. So far so good here with Uber. As you guys can clearly see, we are now long in the money 40, 50 cents on Uber position. So this is a brand new one for me, and it's the only one that we have, and we'll still watch out for Robinhood. I'm waiting for that one to break. So when that does happen, Robinhood's not a new
Robinhood is...
it's not doing anything,
It's
right?
doing a lot of volume at the 80 level, I'll tell you that much. 1380 and 1375. They're having a lot of fun. But guess what bounced off 78? I don't get the 78 because I was sitting a little tighter to it, but the higher low just came in on Shopify. We had to adjust the entry point or when we were looking for the bounce because it was already at 79 from 77 to 78. We'll see if we can't get something out in front of 79. But the 78 level is where we want to grab it. Mara, by the way, did the old dipsy do, whatever you want to call that nonsense, up $1, down $1. Now it's coming right back in. If it can hold 28.50,
like that.
I want to see if you just do $1 range. a second time, I think it's worth a play. I mean, a dollar range on $28 stock, it's already done it a couple times here. If it does it a third time, I want to see if I can grab it. So 28.50 is that local bottom. Sorry about those dark pool wicks, but a lot of overnight prints on Mara because it's a Bitcoin name.
Oh yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, I heard of it. Okay. Yeah. Bitcoin? Oh yeah, yeah.
Kind of a
crypto,
thing.
Yeah, cryptocurrency. My bad. Okay. Uber's trying to come back in a little bit again. We were trying to still hold out for this play. The problem is the retracement to VWAP is happening right now, and yeah, again, we're still waiting at 75. 20s to see if we can get something out here. Let's go. Maybe that does happen. Maybe it does not. All right. Get it to me. Get out. Oh, that sucked. Okay. We'll put something there in the teens now because Uber does not want to. We'll go lucky 13. Why not? Okay. So the other name here is Hood, and we were. Yeah, exactly. We were just talking about it. It went to the downside. So I'm actually going to cancel that break now. It came close for me to break. We were waiting at 85. That's literally the top, as my kids say. But so we nailed the top of it. We were just waiting for a break on Robinhood. Now we can try to play VWAP, but that's all the way here. So Robinhood is falling down. It's a good thing we stayed away from that name and have that ability to do that, right? I mean, it's just like we had the stop order in there. We liked it, and it just didn't fill. So we'll cancel it, and now we'll worry about it afterwards. If it does rip back up to the upside, I'll probably miss it. But we're standing there waiting for something from Uber. The other names, again, I'm trying to be patient a little bit. Let's see if Tesla's doing anything. I will look at the chat in a couple seconds to see if there's anything popping in your guys' opinions. But right there now, Tesla does make that bottom move to 185 and change. So nothing going on there for me anyways.
Mara just came back into that.
Mara, okay, I was going to say Bitcoin down here on my screen anyways, 52. Neil actually has Bitcoin on his screen sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sometimes.
I went to stink bid the 50,000 level, but the wallet wasn't funded yet, so I couldn't throw orders yet. I gotta
that's
go
right.
that
So remember we were saying they have to fund that. Yeah.
Well, I'll explain that maybe in the midday when it slows down. But Mara bouncing off the bottom a second time, well, it's technically the third time, is the 3-minute chart. This is actually the third time it bounced off this low, not the second. It just got to the 29s. I got 28.8s essentially off this 28.6 bottom. So when it gets 1-to-1, which is a 29 even, take some out. But I was in the hood, Robinhood. It took out the pre-market low. That's where I wanted to support. I was buying the 50s in front of that pre-market low. It's out now. It needs to start settling down. So we'll hit that one out. Make sure we don't try to make that a mess. Shopify, initial bounce, gave me the fill in front of the pre-market low. It wasn't the pre-market low, but resistance level. Now it's coming back into 78. So 78 was in lieu of the 77 level for the dip buy. It is SSR, so I'm favoring longs on this, and I'm going to look to play a bounce here off the 78 level. If I can even get some 10s there. Okay, so I got the 10s. We're in shop. If it holds 78, great.
BMR's halting.
I'll give it about 10 cents. That BMR again?
It's halting right now. 1850.
18.
Damn it! I was going to try to buy that. Ugh. I wanted to buy that first halt
18?
On there, and I just went over to it. I heard that it was halting, and
You gotta be kidding me.
it's halted. So BMR right there halted again as it's seen big moves, man. I don't know if obviously we didn't get up to there at $33. Or actually, I guess we did get to $33. BMR still going. The only trade that we've had on all day is Uber, and we're still long. So I'm fine with that. All right, I see Alibaba making a couple moves here. Let's go over and have a quick look to see what Alibaba's doing. The Chinese ADRs are strong again, but this name's up 1% and dancing around that, the 200 period right now. So we got it on a VWAP alert, but right now it's trying to fade. Look at the market, man. The market has a nice move up, but look what we hit. Remember that 17.8 fade that we made yesterday? I mean, that's happening again right now. So I wonder if you want to go short the NASDAQ against 17.8 now, because yesterday we made that call and got 250 points. So, I mean, I feel like yesterday had CPI behind it, but today, doesn't, obviously, with the market being back up. Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit cautious.
I liked one short, and I'll show you that one in a second, because it doesn't make me happy. But Shopify, just very quickly, does not hold on to the 78 level. Come to my chart for a second, does not hold on to the 78 level. The initial bounce higher was good. Now you're trending to the downside. Mara did give that 29, but look at how lightly it's bouncing here. This is not screaming back into the upside. So I'm just going to be out of this thing if we can't hold the pre-market lows. Before we go to Adara, I liked one short. This was it. It did fail at the open, but it's not exactly screaming downside. I can try to get off the pre-market highs maybe. That's about it for Micron as we go to Adara at the desk.
Another small cap popping up here, Cogent Biosciences, COGT, up about 60% after announcing a private investment of approximately $225 million in marketable securities is expected to fund the company into 2027. So nice look up here, nice push to the upside for COGT.
Heck out of some of these trades if things didn't start to work out. We said if this market could turn red today, then we want to flip everything around. Well, the market's now breaking through VWAP and looking to go lower. So, yeah, that's a nice story. We'll see what happens now. We are going to try to get out of another piece of Uber in and around here. There it is. We just got some out at 90s. We're long at 74.40 here, guys. So it's definitely not a point of contention for me or anything yet. All right, so Uber, I'm already waiting at 182. I want to be patient. I really do think that we could start to tank in right now, so we're going to have to watch out for that one. The Qs are making a move down here. Kind of as expected off 17.8. It's my bad. I wasn't really into that 17.8 level today, and I should have been looking at that. Unfortunately, we had a huge move off that yesterday, and it's my bad for not acknowledging that today. I feel like I've definitely hurt myself by not doing that. So I shorted it yesterday. I would have done it today.
Upstarts.
Yeah, Affirm's also tanking. And that's about it for now. But not Affirm, sorry, ARM is what I meant. ARM was down to 126. Yeah, 126, 127 for ARM right now.
So Disney, by the way, Disney's still relatively strong. It got pretty close to that 112 level. It got to 111.
Oh, really?
50,
Okay.
50 there. So if the market's going to be weak, remember this was still strong yesterday when the market flushed. So I'd put it in the bucket that I might still like longs even if the market's weak here. But Disney looking okay. It's Mara that I'm in. It's Mara that's trying to bounce. But once again, it turns at the 29 level. This needs to no reload if it's not going to put in a higher low. That's what I said yesterday. Don't do it a second time if it's not putting in a higher low or showing signs of strength. Already one lower high. You got to at least make a higher low if I'm going to get into this sucker again. Micron doesn't seem to want to let me in. Let me in. Can't get the pre-market high. I'll play off the pre-market low now, which is about 82.30. If the market continues to fade, I know this was a weak name yesterday. I can't imagine why it would be suddenly strong if it was weak when the rest of the chips were strong. So I'm going to try and get this off the 82.30. Not the price we wanted, but it's the price the market's giving us potentially here. So we're going to wait around for this, make sure we don't get out of pocket with some of these names. Oh, one last one for you. Rivian just failed a breakout. Okay, it's not a huge breakout. We're missing some data on that chart. Suffice to say, it's like 1580. You can sort of see it there. I'm missing half of yesterday. 1580, pretty key level. If Tesla is going to give anything up, then I got to keep my eyeballs on that 1580 on Rivian for a potential fade trade. Just looking for some short opportunities here.
So we have a new position. I don't know. We talked about Alibaba being a little bit strong right now, so we'll find out about that right now. I'm just trying to play it against 72.20. I wasn't convinced about which way the market was going to be going today, as you guys know. So I turned it into a bull. I mean, the market was up. I think we got some decent news today from just rebalancing out. A name like Robinhood, pretty good story there. Uber trying to help the markets. Some good bottoms from Softy and whatnot from yesterday. So we'll hold on to just two longs. We have Alibaba, and then we have a 60-cent winner right now. BMR has just resumed. So let's just go over to BMR and have a quick look. See, damn it. We knew, it doesn't matter. We don't have it. But when it halted that first time, I always like the first halts. I mean, so that would have been a play there on BMR for sure to play that 1850, in my opinion. But there it is. There's the first halt, and there it goes to the upside. Let's check out another big runner. Yeah, exactly. DTSS is up 8. Oh, wow. This one's not running that much. It's only up 900%, but nice move up there. 1480, and still looks like it wants to go. That's DTSS. But guess what, man? We already have right now a big one here in Alibaba. It's not like it's huge, but it's all right. We'll get out some more at 59 right there, and this one's starting to go. We have two longs. It's Uber, which is tanking right now for some reason, but it's Uber and it's Alibaba's really making the moves, but Uber's trying to go the other way here. Let's pick something up for some strange reason right there. And then apparently Tesla also Is there news on Tesla, Dara? Because Tesla is getting
tanking.
woodshedded
Rivian.
right now to the downside. Watch out for Tesla right now. 183 and change. Dara will come with something. I don't see anything, but
182 on Tesla is big. That big support level. So,
Aight.
182 was a double bottom yesterday. If it gets to 182, I'm looking bounce on it. But I already wanted shorts in Rivian. Now I want them even more inside of the opening range. Mara is starting to hold 29s. So it's looking a little bit better here,
huge.
giving you a nice higher low here. I want to play this to the pre-market highs. The market's relatively weak. Bitcoin had been leading things. I got one short on Micron, looking pretty solid because,
what did Uber?
well,
do there?
quite frankly, like it's just been a weak stock. If it holds 82, that's going to be the concern. But it's in the money. It was in the money about 10 cents at the most. But I'm not taking profit till I get that 20-cent move, at least initially. Mara I like, but we haven't talked about Coinbase. Like Coinbase is doing this, and Mara, sometimes you just Mara's in the money, but Coinbase is up 10% and at 155. So I'm wondering why the heck Mara isn't doing, usually Mara does the bigger move, but Coinbase, huh? Adara?
I will let you guys know if I get any more news or context on this, but there is something on Tesla. So I'm just seeing, according to a court filing, that Elon Musk and a Tesla shareholder have proposed a stay of pay case ruling pending the outcome of an appeal. Again, not lots of details here, just a court filing update. I will let you guys know if I see anything else here in TSLA.
The stay of pay. Well, we knew something was going on. I mean, that's for sure. I'm going to cancel well, we'll still try 182 on Tesla. Honestly, I'm going to put a stop order in case it gets, I agree with that, but then also, like, obviously, as Neil knows and we both know, oh, man, when news hits, man. But anyways, that's causing the move down. So I am going to try to support it. I didn't have a huge amount of shares there in the first place. We'll see if it can come back in. We'll wait for like a 180, 150. Let's let it break. And then if it really breaks, then that's Tesla for you. For me, whether or not this is diamond hands or not, this Alibaba trade, I like. So, I mean, it's a good trade. Let's go Uber right now, by the way. We rebought some Uber down there. This is what happens when you like a stock, you like a stock. It just fell down, and we just bought more of this name down there on Uber. So I'm pretty happy with the way this thing's trading, needless to say today, and that's going to be Uber. Gave me some great dip buy. Obviously, I'm mad as hell because we could have made some nice cash there on that initial break of $75, which we didn't get, but we did get it back in there, and now it's starting to go. But really, it's just being very specific on what you're looking for, right? Like we talked about the Chinese ADRs. We saw that they were up today. We saw that BABA was more aggressive than the market. So when it was hovering around the 200 period, we bought it. It is worth a shot, in my opinion. We talked about where we were going, getting out if it broke 20s. That's 20 cents worth of risk. It's only in the money 40 cents at the top there. So that's why we started taking it out on 2-to-1, and now we can see if we can let sort of the winners ride now, which we don't do enough. Oh, don't even tell me, Honest Abe, that Palantir hit off that level that we were talking about. Oh, no. Sean, never wear that hat again, my guy. We did the work with Rahim Alani right here. Right here. Look at this chart. We got to go to the chart quickly here, Fabian, just for 1 second. I just want to show how stupid I am. In the pre-market, we talked about I said, we're not going to buy 24s because if it gets down into what level? 2380 was the level where we wanted to buy it against this 2350. Well, that's only not 80 cents in the money now on, once again, a fail by this guy. I say that, and we're 2 for 2 with 2 50-cent winners. But anyways, that's bad on me there. Damn you, Palantir. Thank you for the run-up, though. Maybe we'll be cashing out of some later. Not. What's up, Adara?
Bit of a spike here in Celsius Holdings, CELH up about 6.5%. Not seeing any news on this one right now. Lots of mentions on social media, and also it does have a short float of 15.7%, so not insignificant. Just some things to keep in mind if you are getting involved in CELH, guys.
Definitely worth that watch. NVIDIA is at the high of the day as well. I'm going to get to that chip name in a second. I just got out on a curl in Mara. It got to 2940s. Made a bit of a wick top in there. Seller sort of emerged. So I jumped out. I'm looking for the dip buy. We were looking for those higher lows. They're starting to come in. If it's going to take the stairs to the upside, then I just simply want to join it. NVIDIA is doing this. So I guess it's not done yet. If there's going to be strength in the chip names, we mentioned AMD.
Right.
There you go, finally.
Oh,
AMD, which was
Uber.
bouncing off of this.
Boom.
Previous resistance turning into support. That is a good foundation for success, but I'm not chasing tops on this. I actually get a chance at an entry here on Intel because it is going in the other direction. And it's right at previous resistance turning into support right here. So if this can catch a bid, it looks interesting over that 43.50 level, I should say. Shop today can stay out of trouble by getting out of things, but you know what? Sometimes the opportunity cost is you miss it if you don't hold it further or give it a little bit more room. So Shopify ended up bouncing off 78 after all to get to 79, but it did so without me. It's about to retest it looks like. These lows, 77.70 is the current bottom. I think we have a decent chance of it retesting that. My focus is going to be now chips and jumping into Mara on the next available dip before this thing breaks out the top. I do like a 30 break on Mara, but I'd rather be long going into 30 than having to take a 30 break.
All right. It's always nice when the sticky note really is leading the way for me. And I mean, today, look at Uber. Look what Uber's doing. We're now, there it is, man. It's everyone's favorite club. It's the dollar club. And there it is, man. Uber, we just got a bid at 60s or 55s right there. Nice move, man. And look what's happening right now. Let's go. This is not a dollar club, but we can party if we want to. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there, and happy Singles Day. Alibaba, that's right. That was pretty good. Alibaba has their Singles Day every once in a while. I don't know if it's today or not. But there it goes. Nice move up for Alibaba. Huge move up for Alibaba. What the hell am I even talking about? Let's go right now. For Alibaba. This is a monster play. This was 20 cents worth of risk to right now. We're in the money 60. So that ain't bad. Oh, Singles Day is 11/11. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Duh. What's up, Adara?
One of the bigger small cap moves today, still giving some opportunities. Data C now up about 1,000% before pulling back a little bit here. This one did report an increase in EPS, or I guess less loss per share here, and a revenue increase, significant revenue increase here for DTSS. Worth noting, though, the float on this is about 1.4 million shares, so very small float. Be cautious, DTSS.
DTSS.
Well, caution is definitely a thing. By the way, BTC here, I thought for sure when I was looking at my Mara that this would take in the 52. We're not. We haven't broken out the 52 thou level. If that breaks here, then I'm going to get involved. You know what's up. It just is what it is on top of Mara. I'm back into MU, gave it a tight stop, but then wicked the top and held the 82.5 level. The market's coming back in here. It's the only chip name I'm bearish on right now. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to that one. It was good for us in the afternoon. We're going to stick with it. It is the story on Coinbase is the big story right now. Like, it's up at 159. 159. It's about to hit 160. I know a lot of people are like, hey, do you short 160? You're asking because of this level. That's like 161 change. I think if it's going to turn, maybe even a false break of 160 as opposed to standing in front of that freight train. Don't know that I want to be doing that. I like Mara, but it's about to take out the top in here. I'm going dip by VWAP. If it's a break, it's a break. That high is like 68s, I do believe. So sorry, 67s if it makes the break. But I want the dip back into VWAP instead.
All right. It's just, what are we thinking about the direction today? I mean, obviously, Alibaba's, I know. So that's why I'm asking myself this to myself, obviously. But it's just like, we have to ask these questions because, like, if I think that there's a chance here for our friendly neighborhood Intel to go back to the upside, we're at a decent level right now, but we're going to need the market to agree with us. See, it just flashed again, man. What the hell? All right, I'm going to have to figure that out.
Never
later.
looking when
it just
happens.
bugs me. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know if you want to look. Doesn't really matter. But anyways, we're at the 200 period. I was debating hitting this through 43.40. That's the debate that I have right now with myself is what are we going to do with that level here on Intel. So that's something to look at. I'm probably going to be away from that for now. I'm still a little bit, I'm not upset about it, but we had the call, and I'm glad some of you took it clearly in the chat. You guys were yelling at me about that 23.80 level, and we didn't notice it until afterwards. Like I said, I wasn't even looking at the chat in the first 5 minutes, which I probably should have been. I was just too focused on what was going on with Uber there, or Uber obviously, and then we had a news story about Tesla, which by the way, Tesla is like, okay, that story, I'm not sure what it means, but it made a move back in, and that's where we got to 183.50, and we did not get to that level that we liked down there at 182. But you know what matters more is that Uber right now is going back up to the upside. So let's see what kind of action we can get here on Uber. Hopefully good moves back to the upside, as I'm thinking that Uber wants to go. This is the #1 name on the sticky note today. And if you're looking for the first time, thank you so much for watching. Over 8,000, love you right there. Over 8,000 watching right now. And you can see here, happy Valentine's Day. You just saw my wife, but then you're also seeing Uber as the #1 name here today. We got gifted longs, baby. It's too bad because we would have been on one early because we tried to get that 75 break. It happened so fast. Then we got a couple dip buys into the 50-period moving average. This is exactly the kind of trading that I'm trying to do. So far, so good here today. Patience does matter, and we're trying to have more of it. So let's wait to see what we can get now. It's 70 cents in the money on Alibaba. We've already done well on that one. We're out of 2/3 of Alibaba, and I don't really know how to explain how many shares we have left on Uber because we've been getting in and out of this one a bunch of times. So let's see what happens right now, but it's Uber, and I like.
Before we go back to the desk, Upstart just did a wick underneath support at 26.8. It's SSR because it's down 17% plus. I'm going to look for the bounce off of that same level into VWAP here. 42% short float and down this much. I'm looking for wick entries like that. So we're going to go with support here at 27 even, and give it underneath that 26.8. But let's go to the desk. We've got Adara. No? Yes?
So I do have some more updates and some more context on that Tesla story. This is coming from Reuters reporting what was in that filing. So Elon Musk and the Tesla shareholder who successfully won the verdict to void the $56 billion pay package for Elon Musk. So Elon and the shareholder coming together here to ask the judge to pause her ruling until they have an appeal resolved. And this is according to a Tuesday letter to the court from the attorney of the shareholder. So just interesting news there. Elon and the shareholder filing for this day, guys.
Okay, so I guess kind of the I thought he was trying to get that moved over to Texas. So we'll wait to see. Obviously, we knew that was going to happen. But right now, here's Uber. Well, I mean, I guess we didn't know. 75.80. I'm going to put an offer right there. If we can get this dollar and change, then this is what we're going to try to do again on this name. We are trying to get out of some more Alibaba on the high side as well. Let's check out on ARM. I mean, I was looking at Tesla. Tesla's 185 right now. Made that bottom at 183.50. Definitely a missed opportunity.
Never quite got to 82s.
Yeah, definitely a missed opportunity there. Look at ARM. There's the 200-period bounce, man. I mean, this is something that we look at for sure. But again, it's like on a name like this that's moving like this, it's very, very difficult sometimes to hit those plays, right? So, yeah. But anyways, it definitely holding down there at 128. I feel like if this does come cracking back, we've talked a little bit about plays that could happen. If it does come back into 128 and you like this long, you would have to respect 126.50. Just because of the movement here. And we've talked about some violent names and what can happen when levels break. We've seen that to the upside on ARM. It can happen to the downside. This thing can go. It was 102 2 days ago, or 2 days ago on open or whatever it was when it flushed down. So just be careful with that one. All right. Other than that, man, yeah, so Delaware, this is from Mark there.
Yeah,
Delaware
the break didn't go on
will not allow
Mara.
the move. Right, okay.
So very quickly, just
Mara, okay, yeah.
I know Randy's here.
He is?
Bitcoin just
Yo, can I
tagged
get-
52 exactly. Mara went for the break. It didn't go. I'm going to go back to the dip buy strategy because that's what worked the first time. I still like the dip buys here
Actually, I'll
as
go. I
long
need
as
to
you're
go for a
making
walk.
higher lows.
No, I'll go.
You making a run?
Well, I feel bad asking him because he kind of looked at me like, nah, I don't know. And then I said, you know what, I can get up and go for a walk. I mean, right now we are really, really cruising right now. Randy, look at these buys, baby. Look at these ones here on Uber. We got the 75 break, went up to 76.50. Then we bought off the 50 period there at 74.30. Then we bought off the 50 period again. And now we're over. Randy, you're dressed really well for this. You too can go to the Dollar Club. It's Randy. He's in the building. He's not much of a, yeah, I like that. You got to have a little bit of that going on. It's a Dollar Club now. It's not a Dollar Club. It's a $1.15 club right now with Uber. But Randy, we ain't getting out, baby. We ain't getting out. The one name that we should have stayed in and put our whole damn life savings in, NVDA up another 3%. Look at this, Randy. Can you? NVIDIA, why don't you tell me January 9th, $500, Randy, 739. Mr. Bo Bandy is in the building, and we love Randy. Tesla today, Elon Musk gets the denial of the move to Texas, Delaware. He's going to have to stay there, and you can see a little bit of a move down as we worry about one of the richest men in the world's compensation
No longer
package.
the top.
Don't cry me a river, Mr. Musk. You want to look at Lulu?
Why were we looking at Lulu? I'm just curious because
Their initial bounce was unreal. I was like,
Okay.
what happened?
This guy's all about
Dip.
Lululemon. I like this guy.
450 daily.
Yeah, so I've been talking about Nike off of 100, but this is looking mighty fine. Oh my God, I'm going to say something I'm going to get in trouble for. I was going to say, Lulu looks like a nice bottom here.
It does.
All right. But, I mean, you know, yeah, it does. You finally getting that, Fabian?
Now you get
You
it,
good?
Fabian?
You good, Fabian? You good over there? But you know what? Who cares what's good or not? It's Uber is good right now. There we go. Everyone knows it, and the chat's liking that. Good. There it goes, man. Uber, go, go, and go. This is what we do here, man. We're trading. We're taking aggressive plays. We only have 2 plays, man. It's Uber and it's Alibaba, and it's a trophy kind of a day. So I love a nice bottom. It says T-Money. You can't get a better one possibly there than that. That Lululemon chart was really good. I really like the name. Uber right now going back to days high. I wish we had told you about that. Oh, wait a second. Nike off of, again, this is another podcast play. It was at $100 when we made the call. It's now at 106.7% on the pod right there. And bye-bye Uber. We just took a piece out there, obviously at the high of the day. 76 and change. Uber's still the one, man. Just like DJ Khaled says, you are the one, AKA Justin Bieber. Okay, it's over there at the big desk with Miss Adara.
Lots driving this market to the upside after that market-wide pullback yesterday following the hotter than expected CPI print, up about 0.6% right now on the SPY. Also worth noting, we did have some comments from Fed Goolsbee coming on. He started speaking about half an hour ago. He said that it is clear that inflation is coming down, so did strike a bit more of a dovish tone on that, but did say that it would be possible if China does have a recession, that it could impact the U.S. in terms of them both having a recession at the same time. So definitely something worth noting there. Some comments from Fed's Goolsbee. We also had Gary Gensler, SEC chair, speaking on CNBC this morning. So lots of speech coming from a lot of different people in this area. Also worth noting here with regards to China, pulling back a little bit now, but XPeng and a lot of these other Chinese ADRs very much to the upside after a strong day for the Hong Kong's stock exchange. Coin also to the upside along with a lot of these other Bitcoin names driven by that surge up in Bitcoin, actually surpassing the 52,000 level. Coin also reports after earnings after close tomorrow. Last but not least here, LYFT up 35%, not as high as it was initially yesterday on the incorrect EBITDA number, but still up 35% on strong earnings here, LYFT.
That'll be frustrating. It never got to that 73 level on Uber. Coin just made a right turn. It didn't get to 61. It got to 60. The second that happened, I got out of the long in Mara because you know a dip is incoming if it's trying to follow this one. The other name that we were just in addition to Mara, was Upstart for the SSR bounce at the 27 level. It's a playoff 27. If it holds, it holds. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And we get the you-know-what out of Dodge. If it gets to 26 even, I'll make another shot at it. We thought this would be a good play. I really did think the day 2 play was better on Shop, and it's now making a higher low off that same level. So if you're being patient, sometimes you have to let it make the low and then jump in. Appreciate it, Randy.
This guy's the
refill.
man. This guy is the man.
I know,
We're just putting on Instagram Uber here for everybody.
Let's get back over to it. It looks like we're breaking here. 77 is the next even dollar. Shop is trying to hold on to green. The market is doing essentially like this. You're watching like NVIDIA going, Uber's going, Coinbase is going, although it's pulling back, but the market overall isn't exactly going anywhere. And a lot of that is because if you look at some of these names, you have Meta, which is good. You have Apple, which is like really bad. So you're getting this like seesaw action where some names are super strong and like Apple's dragging everything down here. So the market can't seem to decide. You just got to pick your spots. That's why I'm going back to names that were in the plan of action, like the day 2 looking for bounces, SSR bounces on Shopify. That's what we wanted to do, into the $77 level. It did work the first time, not the second. I'm going to be patient looking for that third. And NVIDIA, for those of you that are still following NVIDIA, 740 has already come and gone here. It's basing out at the 740 level. I like 35 because its previous highs turning into potential support there at VWAP, but I don't think you want to chase anything. It just showed you the market has not decided what it wants to do at this moment because you have too much, met at the highs, Apple at the lows kind of nonsense going on. So you want to pick your spots. VWAP retraces, tight entries, all that kind of good stuff. That's what I'm waiting for. And it looks like we're about to get it on Shop.
Yeah, so far so good, needless to say here. As Uber is now a two. Okay, well, Randy came, and now it's $2 in the money now, Uber. And again, we talked about this play, man. We liked it at 75. It's at 76.50. So even if you missed some of those plays that we had talked about, it's pretty easy to get right back into that name. It's Uber, and it's gorgeous today, up through $75. The minute you get that kind of a catalyst, I mean, we're a catalyst trader. Honestly, it's like you just wait for things to hit, and when they do, you take advantage of it. So we did that in spades here with Uber, man. Like I said, it's going to be a big trade. Baba, I'm gonna probably get another piece out right now. It did fade out a little bit. I mean, this market could be something else. We'll take an advantage of this bounce off the 50 back in right now for this. So all good, man. Bitcoin right now 52. Neil just mentioned Coinbase. Obviously, that is starting to go here, and it looks like it wants to do that. So nice move there for Coinbase or for Bitcoin. Let's just check out Coinbase right now as that's starting to go. Neil just mentioned the fade of 160. That looks pretty juicy. But again, with a move back into VWAP 154, 155, could be the one there as well. So we'll wait to see if that comes into play. Square moving around, I'm seeing here. AMC possibly. I'm just checking out my e-signal charts right now. So just looking above to see if there's anything else that's popping through. Okay, it looks like ARM is going to take out the day's high. So ARM wants to continue to go. Uber right now is $2.50 in the money. And honestly, I mean, done. We tried to smack this thing with 500 shares early at 75 and missed it. But, that happens all the time. But there it goes, man. Uber still running northbound, man. It doesn't look like it wants to slow down. So, yeah, we talked about trying to hold on to this. Obviously, we did, and we got it at the day's high. Now we have FOMO for not having more of it. But, hey, at least we have the call. Thank you so Holy shoot, man. Thank you so much for watching the show one more time. But there it is again, man. You might need the belly dancing, but right now we just have this for you. It's the flaw. Shout out to Russell Jackson for getting that one back in the building.
Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie.
Yes, sir.
Although we didn't actually do the Vegemite thing because we didn't really settle on a bet, unfortunately.
No,
but,
I'd rather not eat that Vegemite.
No one would. I'd eat it. I don't care. I'll eat it. But waited for 83. I said I would try Micron off of the pre-market low, but then where we shorted in the afternoon was going to be that level. If it breaks out from here, it's got to take 5, and then I would look for the long. Mara just got to VWAP, so this will stop at about 83.05. Mara just got to VWAP, so I'm going to look VWAP dip on that while I just got into Micron. Shopify is now headed. It's bouncing again. It can't seem to get to that 77 level, which is a little bit frustrating. That's the level we want. Upstart is the other SSR play that I'm looking for. It just held on to the bottom again. And what I'm looking for is, 1, hold a higher low and don't take out the stop, and then hold through VWAP. So it's starting to set up for another dip. I will take it a second time, probably give it 3 swings before we get away from it. I just like that look. And we did mention NVIDIA on VWAP, but yeah, you're not pulling back off to VWAP on NVIDIA. Maybe we see 750 instead.
Okay. It's a good day. All right, ARM. All right, let's see what's happening with ARM. ARM taking out 134. I mean, let's go, man. That bull is riding today, baby. I mean, we're in a good mood all the time, but I mean, we're better today, because it's Valentine's Day, and I'm blessed to have that in my life. So thank you to my kids and my wife for that. I mean, we talked about that earlier on, man. It was the first tweet I put out today, and loving that. So 130, and then obviously when you come, to work well-dressed, feeling good, You know, I get to see Sharif's nice black shirt. And then we had the banger of the day. I mean, we have Uber $3 in the money. And again, this is the thing. I told you, we're trying to do this, man. Like right here, Uber's the #1 trade idea. We tweeted it out. It's on the sticky note. Go find it. And by the way, right now, man, we are how many followers away? 40 followers away from 45,000. So thank you so much for making that happen, because honestly, man, we pump the show. We're giving you guys the best possible trade ideas that I can think of every single day, completely for free. We have over 8,000 people watching right now, more than that probably. I don't have YouTube open because my computer can't handle it. But thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like.
8172.
Perfect. So 8,000 people, not bad. Thank you so much for watching, and let's just keep this party going, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I mean, you know, cost you nothing to do that. So keep it going, and we'll keep going for you guys. I mean, honestly, I was joking with the dentist last night. He's like, because he's been watching, and he's like, the show's absolutely fantastic. And you know what he started talking to me about? Actually, he's one of the smartest. Honestly, I'm requesting this guy. He's like 25, 26 years old. He's super young, which is
Dennis
amazing.
is that young, eh?
Yeah, yeah. And, well, he looks
My
that
Dennis
young.
was young,
I don't know.
and he's like...
He could be 28. I don't know.
couple years
I'm going to ask him anyways. Give me his personal email. But anyways, he's loving crypto. He was asking me all about it. You know what? He goes, you know what his favorite coin is? Cardano. I said...
How'd that happen?
I said...
Before or after you mentioned it?
Oh, no. He said he's been mining it
Okay.
and farming it, and he's...
No, I thought maybe because...
Yeah. No. And he mentioned that, and then
my
I was
barber.
like, dude, you are now my dentist.
My
for
barber
life.
he's crypto and Tesla, and if I try to talk about other things, I'm like, yeah, maybe like the Qs or something, less. He's like, I've talked him into the whole notion of investing in things that are a little bit more stable as a base, and then worry about other stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to get to a comment here because I like it. Bob Dubs, management of trades admirable. He just takes small cuts in unfavorable situations. So it's my style of trade, and everybody has to trade differently. Like I've traded my way for about 20 years now. I am never going to look to have the perfect home run trade. I'm always going to try to keep the hits relatively small. I'd rather take 4 shots at something and not have that one trade blow out a day. But it is going to result, like I took 2 shots on Micron and it might go. You know what I mean? I'm avoiding the blow up day, but that's the opportunity cost of that sometimes. Like it's going to end up being good past where my stop is. So I didn't see an entry point. We're not going to get it. That's how it is sometimes. It'll be good for me yesterday when it's a rough day, but then it can be bad today. And that's just how you got to do it. Like Upstart, maybe it does another bounce off this, but I like those SSR bounce plays today. That was going to be part of the plan. Upstart's not going to work. Shopify still has a chance. Okay, never mind. Shopify just gone at this particular point. Like, look at that move. You want a consolidation higher? Shopify just says, no, we're just going to make that massive bounce immediately. That said, you've always got to just move on to the next trade. I don't care about what just happened or blah, blah, blah. Move on to the next. I went straight from Shopify back on over to our other SSR bounce plays. I'll go over to Robinhood, which the breakout is no longer setting up on Robinhood. Now you got to be thinking about a deep dip buy on Robinhood. Tried 50s, adhere to stop. No breakout at the top. If it can bounce and make a higher low, then I can see myself an entry. I like Intel if it can make a higher low. 43.5 is gone. Now you just have to bounce off VWAP, and we'll take the stairs to the upside. So always set up what that next trade is going to be, because you can't be looking in the rear view. You see me always going to go to what I want to do next, and I'll look down at my iPad and try to figure out what are the things that I was supposed to be looking at that I didn't, one of which is a firm. Firm's nowhere near 40. A firm is short sell restricted today because it was down 10% yesterday. So it also falls into the bucket of SSR bounces. Maybe it can take out this top. I prefer buying dips on SSR bounces. The 40 level nowhere in tow.
All right. I'm just going to punch long here on Roblox. I definitely missed the Roblox long. I feel like it broke through 43 and we missed that trade. But back down into 42.80. I feel like a push back into somewhere into the 50 period is where we really like to put on. I mean, we got shares now, but we'll like to really put on if we get back into that area, then maybe play off this 42.70 down there. But we just punch into the long, so this we'll do this for the day that it is today. And then we only have 10% left of Uber. I told you we got most of that out at 76 and change. I'm just happy for everybody else as that one keeps going, and then we'll do this because it's a new position. All right, so it's Roblox right now. I don't have any targets for this. Alibaba is really starting to go as well. So let's just wait to see. I mean, we've really liked Roblox for a minute. We just put an offer at 20 and got hit. We'll put an offer at 23 and hopefully get hit. As let's see what now happens. There it is, man. Just a small little win there. You know, and to Neil's point, it's like, look, I just took Roblox there, and now it's in the money 15 cents. I'm choosing to take out. I just took out 10% only. Actually, I should take out more. You know, you guys can trade however you want to, you know, like I was saying, hopefully on the second stream, you know, we'll have some more information on there for you. And you'll be able...
Hopefully we will.
We will, yeah, we will. Then you'll be able to see potentially what stocks. We're just discussing what we want to put on there. I want to put on there like what stocks are green versus red for us, things like that, more information so that you can truly see like these are the stocks we're trading and we're up or down on them. Whether or not you want to trade the same style as us is completely up to you. Like look at Roblox, right? I wish now that I would have got out of everything up there as it comes right back down in. If you're, like Neil was mentioning, if you are a longer term holder of shares or you're scalping or whatever style you are, you're going to adjust that to how you're trading. So again, just be careful with all of that. You know, we have some great ideas, I think, and ultimately it's about teaching, it's about having a good time, and it's just about showing you that you can make money trading in these volatile markets and as a day trader, because there is a lot of, you know, negativity there as 98% of all traders fail. Roblox right now, I don't know Hampton's Trader if it's going to the moon or not. We only took out, like I said, about 10%. We had an odd fill when we punched in. We probably got about like 12 to 13% out there on the upside, but we'll wait to see now as Roblox could play the pullback game, man. I mean, Uber was against us like 10 cents before it went in the money 250. So let's see what happens here with Roblox. I still like the name. And I really think that, you know, a break back down through 43, we'll wait for that, but we'll average it back into 42.80. And then if we break below like 42.75, then we'll call it a day here on King Roblox. But all right, I guess we're getting ready to go over to the main desk as it's 10. Oh, it's 10:15.
No, we got 5 minutes
Oh,
until
okay.
we get to
Do we have a
small
note
caps.
from Madeira or no?
We do not have a note from Madeira, but we are getting, well, I am getting a bottom here on Robinhood. You want to see it. It's holding the low off that $13 level. Obviously, we can talk about the report and all that kind of good stuff, but the price action has been to the downside, and there was no breaks. We have to go dip buy hunting on this. You got a 13.05 low. I like the 13 level a little bit more. Obviously, that's just an even dollar level. One thing you got to keep an eye on here is BTC is tanking. Oh, I never did put that bid in.
Oh yeah, 51.3.
So we have crypto now, and if there is an extreme retracement back into 50,000, I'm gonna make a play on Bitcoin itself at the 50,000 level. But the account should be good now. I just couldn't put the order in; it was too early. We have to get the account funded every single day, and it takes like 20 minutes. So I just informed Andrew. So we'll be able to get that one done. Robinhood, want to get 13.10, see if we can play it back into 13 even. Shopify was the other name. We're looking to continue to try to go that long. It's going to have to be a higher low now because, hey, I liked it off of 78 for an SSR bounce, but it went all the way down to 77.50, and then the curl happened. So now I got to look for VWAP. That's the next setup for me. The higher low off of VWAP would be the next setup. Intel doesn't even seem to want 43.5 or VWAP. Maybe I got to play 44s here on Intel. Like this one long. This was the name that when the market started screaming yesterday, it was the only long I was able to actually get in that reversal after the CPI number. So I'm going to go back to the well with Intel. Maybe give it to 43.9, see if we can get some 44s. VWAP's in the big time rear view. And the market seems to want to break 17.8.
Does it?
Well, higher lows.
Yeah, hopefully it does. I agree, man. I mean, I'm long everything. I've only got 3 longs right now. Uber $2. This Roblox, we just got another out there at 22s or 23s. Hopefully it will continue to go. And just a quick update. In disappointing news of the day here, well, it's not really. It's a nice win, and it's going to be Actually, Uber's the top stock, but then, well, we only have 3 names: Uber, PayPal, and Roblox, and we're 3 for 3. So, well, Roblox pending, but right now it's good. Anyways, we're gonna get another out here. I don't know if it's just topping out here at 80s or 90s, but we just took an out like right here at 83. So if it does continue to go up, I will have another offer. And again, we'll be out of almost all of it as we go. Patrick, 3 for 3 today. Yeah, not bad. No, not of course, man. Some days it's not like that. But it's like that today. So we're just going to wait for Roblox. I mean, really, it's just Uber is the belle of the ball today. I mean, we wrote down 75 long. It faded back into the 50-period moving average. And the rest, as you know, is history. So let's just wait to see if that can come through. Oh, Snapchat. We talked about Snapchat. That just came up. Okay, I got excited there. Came up on a little bit of a scanner there. I don't know what scanner that would have been because it's not really breaking anything, but okay. We'll have to watch out for that. Maybe it's high of day scanner. I have a couple of those. We have trade ideas. So if you guys are interested in any of Neil and I layouts, or like when Neil says he's looking up at his charts or looking up at his notes and down on his notes, we all have those all posted up. So you guys can go find it either on Twitter or hit up Mr. Michael Noss and find out what that's about. Oatly?
Well,
if it's not moving down, then I don't know where.
No, you literally said check out the scanner, and then I was like, oh, I haven't looked at my high of the day Momo scanner, and the high of the day Momo scanner says Oatly Group. Oh, never mind. Sometimes it's just breaking the high on relative volume, but it's not really doing anything. Oatly's $1.34. That's nasty.
Exactly.
That sucks. But what doesn't suck, like we just went to the well in Intel, and oh yeah, that's a really bad rhyme. I'll stop saying that. If it can't get VWAP, I just took the consolidation that we could get, grabbed 44.05, giving it back into this recent consolidation into the 90s, and it already you're up at the quarters. I think Intel could see the 44.5 if this market continue going. We did just take the 17.8 level on the NASDAQ, so we are, I mean, the market is flying. When I say we are flying, I mean the NASDAQ is flying. I'm not really looking at the ES that much. But if it continues to go,
wow,
you've got some blue skies ahead.
I'd say so.
This was that big level yesterday. I mean, on the bounce off of CPI, it was 17.8 that it couldn't break. And now we're above 17.8. Feel as if there's some people that got pessimistic yesterday that are wishing they hadn't. And if we hold above 17.8, they're going to be looking for some exits today. So we'll take advantage of that if we can here. Intel, as I said, was the only position I liked the long yesterday, was able to get the long, I should say. I want 44.50 on the way there. Should probably get some out at the quarters as well. If it gets to that. If you like the evens to the 50s on Intel, the quarters are usually a good place to cover as well.
To the windows, to the flow. Right now, you guys know I like to give credit where credit is due. We'll be number 2 today, but you know who's number 1? It's my guy, Obi. So we'll say awesome job to Obi here today, carrying the office on his back. Thank you so much, Obi, for that one right now. And like I said, man, remember I told you, Obi sitting beside my little Padawan there. Congratulations to Obi as this guy continuing to rock, man. And that's what it's all about. That is the best. Like, that's the whole point of real trading, to build traders up. And Obi's told me, like, he feels... Again, I mean, I could speak for him because whatever. He's really grateful every time he gets an opportunity to host a show with us. And so that to me means a lot. So thank you, Obi, for that one. And a big congratulations to that one. Let's go a couple more bangs there for Obi. And let's hit the damn alarm as well. This is your next big trader around here. It's Mr. Obi. And over at the desk, or over at the screen, it is Adara. Happy Valentine's Day, Adara.
Thank you, Sean. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. IWM trying to break above that 197.60 area. This is that small cap ETF, the Russell 2000. Bit of a range earlier, but looks like it's trying to break above that earlier top. Lots of runners to talk about today, including Brera, BREA, falling back a little bit right now. This one, not seeing a reason this one is moving, doesn't seem to have a catalyst, but it does have a market cap of about it has about a float of about 2.5 million shares, a pretty small float here for BREA. Also worth noting, CCG up 165+%. This one halting quite a lot. Shay Group, Tencent reporting just under a 20% passive stake in the company today. So nice look for CCG. Last but not least, here we have QBTS. This is D-Wave Quantum announcing a new quantum prototype here. So QBTS, a little bit of a less parabolic mover, but still up about 25% right now, guys.
Club Shay? Shay Group? I don't know. I can't be the only one that thought of that one. Shout out to the second best podcast in the world. Well, Shay, maybe third. 'Cause
There's more than one podcast?
Apparently.
Oh, okay.
I only know because of that Cat Williams thing.
I only know one.
I literally never watched them until that. But like I said, number 3, we'll probably call, maybe Joe Rogan can be number 2. But
maybe.
Yeah, you were mentioning it might get filmed on a different date today, but it always comes out on Saturday morning. The podcast comes at 10 o'clock. Saturday mornings, although you can listen to it anytime because as I said, it's a podcast, or you can watch it, I should say. I listen to it, anybody can watch it.
Yeah, I've never watched it
YouTube.
either. I listened to it on Apple, but...
Yeah, you can. Well, you can. I know for sure you can watch it on YouTube and Spotify. Some people have said you can watch it on Apple. I'm not sure. I know you can watch on Spotify and Apple. I'm 100% sure about that. Just I talked about being patient, like always look for it and wait for the next trade to set up. Well, Robinhood off of that 13 level, you can see it bounce. It's not quite at VWAP yet, but we grabbed 13.13. I only just realized now that price was 13.13. It doesn't really matter. It was the bottom of this consolidation here. We just grabbed some out at 34s. So we just got about just a little bit better than 2 to 1 there. Intel continues to fly back to the upside. I got a bad wick here on Intel. So Intel just gave the quarters. So that long off the 44 level into 44 quarters, continue to rally. We're able to get that Robinhood at 13. That's the thing. Like you can, regardless of what happens to you early, whether it starts out good or not, just look for the next trade. The market is always going to give you opportunities. We talked about that yesterday at about midday when the market turned. It's like, yeah, the shorts were in trouble, but there were opportunities in the second half of the day to just wait for your key levels and go right back into the well, or join the trend to the upside if you can. If you miss out on something, there's always, in a trending market, there's always going to be entries in longs. Trust me, like there always is. It's just a matter of like waiting around and then finding.
Trust me, bro.
And being patient. Maybe not trust me, bro, but Palantir 25. Yeah, 25 broke on Palantir. That was that big level.
Oh man, we already
Resistance and Palantir. But no. The point I was gonna make is the last time it was over 50, 25, 25.50 was the resistance level. It's already done this up down off the 25. 25.50 is last week's high, Friday's high. So I think that level could be the big one today. Not to say that it's not doing well. I just think that could be the big breakout play.
wakey. I mean, I'm the most awake I've ever been. Yeah, no. Oh man, this Palantir. I don't know. Can we rewind the clock to about like 9 o'clock, where we got Palantir in the chat, and I was like, I'm gonna go long at 23.80. The bottom of the day today is 23.75. So good luck for any of you that didn't do what I did and actually took that long. But at the same time, you are getting to a point right now where, hey man, we love some Palantir, but look where we just wicked up into, right? So if we like 23.80 as a long, this setting up here for a short in and around 25 and change. The only difference is this. Palantir up 4%, market up 1%. The short is not what's good. So I am not going to be in that short. But again, a dip down. We love playing dips into VWAP into 50-period moving averages. It happened there, it worked. So yeah, Palantir now has to be firmly on the radar. So I'm gonna keep it up here on another screen. It's too bad because like when we went long Roblox there, thinking that we could get some juice, I'm already out of half of Roblox now. We got some decent fills. Actually, wait a second. That's a 15 fill? That doesn't make any sense. All right, so that was, I guess, was a mistake. Oh, that's when it came back down. Okay, so I don't know what we did there. That was a mistake. We actually got out at 15s there. That's stupid. All the rest are 20s and 22s. So let's see if this one, that's my bad. I didn't even realize we got out there. Let's go. We still have 65% of Roblox, hoping that it goes back up to the upside. But like I said, little disappointing right now. I do have more bids down here, but now I have to change all of this. I was gonna get out on a break of 42.70. But now we're starting to move up. So again, if these violate, I have to get out. It's part of like the rules. So we have to watch out for this. So back into 42.90 is where we'll load it up. And then basically a break, I guess, of 80 is where we want to deal with because VWAP's at 85. So you always want to put some shares on there around 90, put some more in and around I mean, it's the same level, so whatever. I was just going to watch out for a break of 80. That's my new stop. Just wanted to give that update for everybody on Roblox and change some of my bids because that's where my stop is. And it's not a good one, man. Like, Roblox is not giving me the risk to reward. We're long at 11s, and we can't get above 20. So, like, that's only 10 cents. That's pretty weak sauce. So we're going to have to watch out for that. Rob just called me a silly goose in the chat. That's what we call my daughter.
orders
and
are
everything
accepting
like
now,
that. Yeah. So, okay, good. So there we go. Nice move, man.
No, I just it was
no, but
just,
nice move getting the buying power. I know your order's in now.
Yeah,
so.
there's some quirks. It's brand new to the platform, and the manner in which you have buying power in your account, and then you have to get the wallet funded.
I see you're in Robinhood there. I was looking at that.
I am in Hood.
Yeah.
Robin Hood. One of my favorite all-time movies, and my daughter wants to watch it often, is the animated version of Robin Hood where he's a fox. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's on Disney.
Is it older or it must be older?
Dude, it's old as dirt.
Right,
It's like
okay.
I think it's from like the 60s or something.
Robin Hood is a fox. Okay, that
It is
cool.
freaking hilarious. Like the prince, whoever does Prince John
gonna
is
say,
like,
who are
he's
the
not
voices?
messing around. It's I don't know, some old English guy. I have no, I don't know who does the voice. And then the snake is jokes. But speaking of Robin Hood, the stock, it's pulling back in here. So I'm gonna play a bounce again off of this 13 level. Just want to see it show the bottom and then make a reload off of that. If we can get it, it's not a guarantee. Bitcoin's trying to go back to the highs. If 52 breaks, I want to be long something that I think can carry through. And I have a feeling Robinhood has a chance to get off these lows once again. Oh, it's from 1973 apparently. I don't know, I guessed the 60s. I didn't actually know when it was made. But Apple's in the penalty box bad here. We keep talking about VWAP retraces and went into some longs when the market broke the top in that 17.8. But if we hold 17.8 and Apple can't break VWAP, this stock should be a short. Always look to join trend if you can. The only thing that gives me some pause here is, and anybody watching the show should know this, the 200 period moving average on Apple coincides with its low today. Almost to the penny. So this bottom in here, which is a double bottom from yesterday, is the 200 period moving average on Apple. Tricky to want to be short at that low and not underneath. If it's underneath 183, yes. If it's at 183.25, that's the 200 period on the daily, and it's already bounced twice off that level. Let's get an update from Adara with the crypto markets, because we're in some hood and 52,000 is incoming.
Interesting story here in the world of crypto as well. So Peter Thiel's founder fund, apparently, according to Reuters, adding $200 million back into Bitcoin and Ethereum after initially cashing out in 2022, $1.8 billion. Founders Fund was actually one of the first institutional investors in Bitcoin and crypto as well. So pretty interesting there. But Bitcoin itself certainly surpassing that 1.08 trillion market cap here. This is the market cap scanner for Bitcoin, getting very close to that 52,000 level. Really strong move here for BTC, just at that 51, just shy of 51.9 right now, up 6%. Ethereum up 2,750 here, 4.65% to the upside. Solana up 6%, Ripple up 2.5%, Cardano up 7%. Lots moving to the upside here in the cryptocurrency world, guys.
All right, shout out to Adara. She did it right there. It's Cardano. It's 7. Let's go right now. Okay, and let's go for Roblox. Let's go spin it again. 3 for 3. Like I said, today it's all about that, man. It's that money word. So, and it's Baba, it's Roblox, and it's Uber. And we only have 3 trades today, and it's 10:30. We talked about getting much more specific. We've hashtagged real trading for myself. I've done the work, and I find that if I try to take too many shots, and you know, if I don't put the proper risk in all of this, then it's like, as Neil's mentioned before too, it's like, you know, one bad trade can ruin your whole day. That's not going to be a good strategy. So we're just going to trade the best trades. I mean, look, that I can find. So this is 25 cents in the money. Boom, right? This Uber is $3 in the money. I mean, we've talked enough about Uber, okay, honestly. And Alibaba, we do have that 10% left in Baba. So hopefully that will continue to go back to the upside. We were very worried about Alibaba. In fact, we got out. We talked about getting, see, my screen just flickered again. We got out at some of these levels earlier on Alibaba. Worried about this, only holding that last 10%. So as we go, guys, it is Alibaba, and I am liking that stock. But we're out of it. So let's go Roblox. This is the newest position for us, and there it goes, man. We punched this live for everybody, so it's not like we're taking shares and talking about it. It actually was just hovering right there and actually went against us as we took this position. But there it goes. Now it's starting to go back up to the upside, and it's Alibaba, and it's doing pretty well here today. So again, you know, this is what it is. I'm not short. You know, yesterday, well, look, Randy didn't want to turn this around, but Randy ain't me. We turn it around. Now the NASDAQ's up 1% and ripping. So let's see what happens here. No shorts for this guy on a day like today. We talked about possibly upstart. Remember yesterday when we had $3 on the TQQs and we had just tons of shorts on board? I was only short. Well, that was yesterday, and we know why. So today we're long, and again, we got those feels. So let's see if it can continue to pay out. I'm going to take, we're only out of half of Roblox. I feel like we'll just keep getting it out up here if we can. There it goes. We got 33s, of course, as it goes to 35s. But this is trading, and, you know, I hope you're enjoying it. Like we said, over 8,000 watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We should probably have about 2,000 likes. So if you haven't hit that yet, go ahead and do it. Keep this show going. If you like it, let's go, man. LYFT update, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I want to just point out, like, we're getting mostly the same price action that we did yesterday at the open, which is dip, rip. We made a high. We made a high like right in the middle of the day. It was right around 10. Actually, it was 10 to 10:30. When you made that top, and then it pulled back in. So there is some potential that could happen.
I need to interrupt you quickly.
But, yeah, go ahead.
Just because I just have a trade. And it's just that I just want to let everyone know I'm going to throw right back to Neil. I have ARM. If it breaks 130, I want to take it. So I just want to give that to everybody. I'm going short ARM, through 130. It's the 200 period. I like it. We'll trade it against VWAP of 131. So we're going to take $1 worth of risk. We're about to get short ARM, so sorry about that.
No, look, the question was on LYFT. I don't have a trade for LYFT, but I will tell you it's observing VWAP pretty nicely. But if you can look at the volatility in this, juxtapose it to Uber, if I had to make a guess, my guess is it's not rallying as much volatility because there was a lot of people that got trapped in the long, so maybe you have more sellers on the way up. That was a nasty trap on what was an unfortunate mistake in the earnings report. You know, you can't call. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say you should or shouldn't get fined for that.
Oh no,
but somebody bought that top and lost money. That's right. ARM is short sell restricted. You can't hit the. You can't punch. You can throw an order when 130 breaks, but it can't hit the bid unless there's an uptick print. You need to get picked up on the offer, which sometimes can happen. You throw the order out. Sometimes you get picked up in the melee, but you're not guaranteed to get that bid. But I'm going to ring Reggie on the refill in Robinhood as it's continuing to bounce. We're not through 52,000 yet, but if 52,000 goes, I want this holding above VWAP, and then we can find some higher lows as well on Robinhood. But yeah, on an SSR name, you don't necessarily get it on the way down.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, we got it on the way up a little bit, but I had to pay 65s, and we don't have the full position. All right, let's see if it goes back up to somewhere where we can get a little bit more of a comfortable position here. We don't necessarily, look at this. Bang, whatever, dude. I mean, here we go, and it's a nice little dollar. Let's just take it. Get to the hell in the club right there. This is why, like, we didn't want to interrupt Neil, but we want to tell you that we were going to go short 130. There it is. We put the dollar in our pocket. Like I said, it's not a full position. This would have been, we would have just walked out of here by now. No, we wouldn't have. We're hoping for more lower. But if, again, we missed Uber. We tried to punch that 500 shares. We missed that early. It goes up $1.50. Now we're trying to watch out for ARM here, trying to go down to the downside. We just took $1 on a third of it. I mean, our risk is $1. We talked. Palantir hat. We talked about where we would get out would be $1 worth of risk. So right there, that's clean dollar instantly. Well, not instantly. We had to, like Neil said, we got picked up a little bit in the melee there. We could have got picked up more shares, so whatever. I was hoping that it would just sort of like make that move and then maybe come back to 130. Anyways, I crossed all the way down to 80. So that's where my offer is, 80s. 129.80. I only crossed down 20 cents, but that's not why I missed it. I was watching it. I missed it because of what Neil said. Yeah, you can't hit the bid with your orders. So you basically have to hope to cross down, and then as everyone's panicking, someone picks you up.
Which sometimes somebody does.
But we're at the highest point we've been at all day. So So we got Uber is another one. Roblox.
Another one.
Baba's another one. And ARM is now another one. So let's go to the downside right now and see what happens with ARM. Hey, look, guys, I probably won't get out of this. There's no real levels now. I'm not going to take $2. I mean, I could, but not when it's a break bottom like that. Let's see if ARM wants to just continue to go down. I'll get stopped out now, honestly. If this goes through 130, stop me out. Like, it's fine. We took the shot. I think it's well worth it. And if it comes back up, we will short. I'm just going to change my share size now because I didn't like how it's not going down. We'll put a little bit more on there into, and hopefully we're not one, into 129.80. All right, we'll try that play here for our friend ARM. We already took $1 on only a third. It could still be a losing trade. I don't know. Let's see what happens here with ARM.
NASDAQ's turning a bit here.
Yeah.
So the NASDAQ is making a right-hand turn. So I just took profit on a couple of reloads here for that reason. Like Intel bouncing essentially off of, you get the break here and then the previous high. So there's 44. Call it 05s. It's like 07s. It doesn't really matter. And then bounces off 05s. So reload it off of that bounce, but make the scalp trade because the market is coming down. Robinhood bounced off that 13 again. It got into the 30s. So we're getting the same area in. If I get long another time, it's got to be even tighter down to that 13 area. It does feel like we are pulling back heavily. Bitcoin just got to 52,000 and is making a little bit of a pullback. This is a 3-minute chart, by the way. So if on a 3-minute, you can see it's making a pullback off 52 once, twice, now 3 times. If it puts in a higher low, I might play the breakout at 52,000, the way that this is now setting up. So we can use stop orders here at Real Trading on BTC. So 52,000 for a breakout is setting up here. As long as it holds a higher low. If for some reason we're breaking these lows, I mean, clearly I'm not going to do that, but if we hold higher lows, I do like this breakout. So I'm going to get a stop order when I get a free minute. But Robinhood is now back down at that 13 level that we've taken twice. Going to look for a little bit of a wick bottom. As long as it holds this 1305 low, we're going to jump back into that one to the long. Holo is apparently freaking out.
What is?
Holo.
Oh, Holo.
This is
we're also $2
hologram something. I forget the name.
Yeah,
of the company.
Holo.
It's one of those low float names which is starting to go again. Just remember, it's done this before. It got to 40. Was that 42? Yeah, 42 yesterday. I would not expect it to get to that same price. Usually when you have a double top like this, and it's already fallen back twice from that price, there's probably some sellers in the 40 range. So I'll watch out for that. Another low float runner here, guys.
All righty then. Yeah, man, here we go. So it's a good one, man. And let's see what happens with ARM right now. Let's see. Breakthrough 128. Come on, dog. You got this. You got this. So there's $2 right now in 5 minutes for anybody that traded with me. Let's now see what happens if we get that break of 128. Ooh, it just stopped right there. Remember, the SSR is hurting the short. Because the stock is SSR, you're not going to get anybody. Like, nobody can take that 128 out unless you're already long. That's the only way that you can punch into 128. So unfortunately, I just wish SoftBank's release date was right now. And then you'd see the guys flood this, and this thing would just go instantly down to 110 right now, and then we'd really be celebrating. But there it is, man. It's a nice move right here. And remember, I was just saying, right when we went into the break there, I was like, we got to get out some more Roblox. We did miss that top area there. I'm gonna have to punch. I'm gonna punch some 16s. There we go. Well, we got 16s and 19s there. So 2 outs as Roblox does fade back out right now. So okay.
Make a clarification about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Keith Boone in the chat asking, why does my broker allow shorting ARM if it's SSR? You can short the stock. It's just that if you want to get short by removing liquidity off of the bid, so the level 2's up here, I have Mara up, but just an example. Like if you wanted to short 93s or whatever is on the bid and hit the bid to remove liquidity and get instantly, you can only do that if the last print is an uptick. So if it's just cascading to the downside and it's just red, red, red on your time and sales, then you can't hit the bid. You get repriced to the offer and you have to wait for somebody to pick you up. That's short sell restricted. It doesn't mean you can't short, it just means you can only short on an uptick. And that happens if a stock is down 10% from its previous close, it then goes SSR. That also happens the day after. So ARM was down over 10% yesterday, which means it's short sell restricted today. You can short the stock, obviously Sean is short, but you just need an uptick. And there was a time in the markets where everything, and when we started trading everything was you had to short on the uptick on the NASDAQ. It was frustrating when the market was going down, but you had to be able to adapt to that.
I thought Randy was there for a second again. All right, take this hat off. All right, so it's getting warm in here again. Oh my God.
It's that's why I
yeah.
wear sweaters like this so I can.
What's up with that? So
Oh,
we just resisted 128 again, so I feel like this time we need to put a 128 on here. So we're gonna do that.
It's like balls off.
So let's just see if it comes to the downside now. All right. I don't know though. I kind of want to make this. I kind of want to make this a good trade. All right, I'm just going to cancel that. It doesn't matter. Let's just wait. So we could get it out. I was literally bidding 128.25, and then I just canceled it. So you could get there. You go. I mean, the fill's there right now if you wanted it. I'm just trying to watch out to see what does happen here at 128. Go.
Hood broke 13s. Robin Hood, that is.
Yeah, get down, Rob.
So we took the 13s a second time. Whoops, that's way too far zoomed out. But it took the 13s out. I'm not going to allow it to fill the gap while I'm in it. But if it does try to fill the gap, this is 12.5 in the aftermarket. That's what I want to show you. That'd be the next level I'd even think about trying. Intel's holding on a little bit here. But it's as you said, the thing about what actually happens on ARM as well, just for the SSR, is like sometimes like when people are trying to get short on the offer and you can't get filled, sometimes what happens is it has to fill people on the offer. It'll go up a little bit, and then it can settle back down because people are trying to get into the short, and it needs to go up before that can happen. So it's weird because sometimes you get bounces, and then shorting the pops can be the way to go. One thing before we go over to Sector Watch, it's not one last thing, but one more thing before we go over to Sector Watch, and it's going to be Coinbase. Coinbase through VWAP here on that pullback at 52,000. So we're still pretty tight to the top on Bitcoin, but Coinbase is really starting to fill the gap. If it can hold, I do like VWAP retraces on strong stocks, but it just busted through. And I was looking at it to take it, but now you're through the bottom. Let's see what's going on in other sectors, maybe energy, with Adara.
Energy a little bit mixed, not too much happening here. XOM pretty flat, a little bit of positivity, but not too much happening in energy. Retail trade pretty interesting, also a little bit mixed. Amazon, Costco to the upside, Walmart to the downside, reporting earnings next week. Consumer non-durables also a little bit more mixed to negative, but Nike bringing this one up a little bit. Lots of positivity in producer manufacturing. Consumer durables here, Tesla leading to the upside, transportation, producer manufacturing. So process industries. So there's lots of upside here in this market to be sure. Finance and health technology also really strong. Eli Lilly leading health technology to the upside here. Of course, these tech sectors, Apple a little bit more mixed here, but generally lots of strength in electronic technology, making a nice rebound from those that bit of a market pullback across the board yesterday, but lots of chip strength today. Meta also leading to the upside for technology services here, guys.
All right, thank you.
Look, there was a question like, you don't have to spam the chat, same old G, and I love it. That's genuine right there. I mean, this is the right day to probably have a genuine song in your name, and anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, it just means that you're not old like I am. But the reason why I went over LYFT once, the reason why we're not really dwelling on LYFT despite the fact that it has earnings is I'm going to show you one chart, which Sean has already shown you. That's Uber. And then I'm going to show you the LYFT chart. I understand that LYFT is up 33%, but since then, it's not to say that it's boring, it's just a different move. It is going to the upside, it's a different move. As a matter of fact, it is back at VWAP. I said it would be interesting for a VWAP bounce play. Yeah, it's actually at VWAP now. I just told you Coinbase bouncing off VWAP. I just reloaded Intel off 44, but yeah, VWAP here this time of day, this does look okay. Let's see what happens if it can show you some green off this, but it's still selling into VWAP. It's just not as volatile, and it's not really giving you as big of a move. I think because some people might have got trapped in some really bad longs overnight, which can cause it to have less upside potential because they would have to cover on any bounces.
All right. So in the bonehead play of the day, apparently, we saw ARM, and we even talked about it there at 128 and how it just kept on going and kept on bouncing off of that level. And unfortunately, we didn't cover it because I was trying to play the home run. $2 is probably enough of a home run anyways. Am I getting the next opportunity right here to do this? All right. All right. I'll just put I'm honestly going to tap out of another third.
Sometimes they're just pitching you away, and you got to hit the the double to the gap.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good one.
Pitchers
yeah.
and catchers are reporting.
You gotta swing for the pitches that are in front of you, right? I mean, I remember Barry Bonds got walked about like 400 times that year, and he was
32.
and he was literally swinging sometimes for like balls, and that's why they instituted that. Now you just put your hand out, and the guy can automatically. I think you can do that one per inning.
You know what was amazing to be just
I think that's a good inclusion.
The Bonds analogy.
Yeah.
When he was at his height, if you watched what made it so great is he'd go an entire game and maybe see 3 pitches to hit. I saw once he was played an entire series against a team and he saw less than half a dozen reasonable pitches to hit.
Yeah.
And you know what happened in that series? He hit 2 home runs. He saw like 6 hittable pitches and he hit 2 bombs. Like the level of patience that he had and like the eye to just only strike then.
It's really too bad he was so juiced, honestly, because he had such a good balance.
Like his batting eye and his talent was so good, he didn't need it. He really didn't need it. But anyways, it is what it is. They should put him in the hall and put on the plaque that he cheated, but that's just me. But for trading, it's the same kind of thing. Like if you wait for it, maybe you only get 1 or 2 good opportunities. That might not matter if you're able to sort of cash in on them. That's what I'm getting at. But I do like this lift-off VWAP. So I'm actually going to take it. I was going to say Coinbase, but Coinbase not really setting up as well. I like VWAP retracements middle of the day. I do.
Uber is $3 in the money right now on the #1 trade idea here, and it seems like it doesn't want to stop. So me getting out just seems foolish every time I do that. We only have 10% left. Again, like another 50. Like I'm learning something every single day. And I have to apologize for those of you listening at home. Bears vs. Bulls said that I was saying damn, and possibly like when something didn't break there, I said the S word, and I have to be careful with that. So I apologize, and I won't be doing anything like that anymore. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls. Well, sometimes I'm like, oh man, there it goes, shh, like that, and then I don't want, because you know what, honestly, it's like we talk so much about the lack of education in this space, so the last thing I want to do is
glaring.
And I know that there's teachers and all that kind of stuff. I've actually even volunteered to speak at my kids' school for their I forget what the day is called. It's not bring your parents to school day.
No, it's career day.
No, it's not. No, it's not that. There's something about not financial literacy, but like that. I forget exactly. My wife would know what it is there. So I apologize, because if there are people obviously listening to this on different means, like I just sit here and I think like, what's our target audience? It's like us and younger and people that are energetic about trading and everything like that. So sometimes I do get a little carried away.
And we're on a trading floor, which I mean, sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm trying to be honest. It's not, it's not. I don't
have to excuse it. It's just.
No. It is what it is on a trading floor, but it doesn't mean it's right for the show. Okay, so and just really quickly there, and thanks to Bears vs. Bulls, and thanks to everybody for that. I'm going to make that change. But right now, into the gates of hell. Am I allowed to say that? I think so. It is now ARM, and guess what? Tap, tap. I feel a little bit better about that right now. So now we are only in a third of this trade. Let's see where it goes from here. But make an uncensored version. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I don't really ever really curse. Like, it's actually strange. There's some people, I don't know. I'm gonna leave that to themselves. But like, I would, like my kids, like, I don't do that, but anyway, so I apologize for all of that. Okay, there goes Roblox coming back in. We just talked about being worried about it a little bit.
Apple's so bad today.
Apple, darn it. I wish I would have looked at, I know that's funny, but I'm just saying, like, I almost said it again. Darn it, I wish I would have looked at Apple before. Snickles. You know what? Actually, Bears vs. Bulls had a good idea. You know what we should do? Can Fabian, maybe this should go on the board immediately, actually. Forget about all the other things you're doing. You're not doing that much.
I want Snickles.
Why don't we just we should have like a button that we can hit that's like exclamation mark, question mark, like kind of like a void, like a kind of like a, you know what I mean? Like
I'm with it.
Like a swear word beep type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't need that. Yo, what's up, Brankles? I see Brankles in the back there.
By the way, for anyone, there's a trader on the floor, and she would never, ever, ever curse. But she would say things like Snickles was her thing, and we would always. It was fun because then everyone would just start saying Snickles if a trade came out. But just a couple of updates. Just one update. Intel 2 times the charm, but we couldn't hold 44 there, and we also took down 17.8. So 17.8 goes, and it broke a support level, I get out. I can get back in if it wants to hold a bid, but until it shows me that, then I don't necessarily want to do that. And I get it.
This is not a church. That was a good comment.
I know, like someone's thinking it's not a church. Hey,
We do have a
obviously,
super chat.
no, we just want to respect everybody out there, and we always have a good time here. I think it's mostly fine, but we do have young people watching the show. Like I can tell you with certainty.
My kids watch.
One of my good friends, like son, consistently watches the show, and it is what it is.
Nice.
It's Zane's brother's little.
Yeah, my kids watch it. CNVS partnership with Google, Jose Mercado. I know nothing about it, but we'll talk about CNVS in a second. But we got to go over to Adara because crypto's moving around, man. 51.6, but it's money talks.
DXY pretty flat today, not moving too much here, just slightly below that 105 area, 104.80 for the DXY. We did have some comments from Fed's Goolsbee earlier today, basically saying that inflation is coming down, so striking a little bit more of a dovish tone there, but expressing a little bit of concern about China, potential recession, how that might impact the U.S. So some notes there. We did get December PPI a little bit late today, so that coming in a little bit lower than expected, pretty much flat though. We do have January PPI coming up on Friday, and 2 more Fed speakers today, Barr and Bostic. Barr speaking at 4 and Bostic speaking at 7 p.m. So going to be after the market is closed, but some things to keep in mind here with regards to the DXY heading into the rest of the day.
Man, our guy over here is going to be excited to trade Apple.
Apple's underneath its 200-period moving average on the daily.
He owns Apple. That's why. Remember that trader? We used to have a trader that always used to trade his book. That did not end well.
Well, there's a point.
Oh, me too.
There's a point about that trader used to trade his own book too. It was the most remarkable statistic that I'd ever seen for a trader. When you trade at a prop floor, you have a daily loss limit. 80% of his red days were like shutdown days. Like he was completely immune to having a flat day. If he was wrong for everything. If he was right, but the thing is, he lasted for like a decade because when he was right, he was also right for everything. But just one thing for Jose, appreciate the super chat. CNVS partnership with Google. They did report, and it's a 33 million market cap, and then the float is only 11 million shares. So it is a low float. It's a low float mover that reported earnings and then reported the partnership with Google. It's trying to get off the bottoms, but it's been giving it all back, except for the fact that look at $2 on the daily chart. So $2 was previous resistance, higher lows. It's actually not that bad looking of a chart. Holding the 50 period for a small cap, that's not bad. And then the $2 level has already found support, and that's the previous high. So that's the key price level that I'd be anchored off of. The only position I'm in was that bounce off VWAP and LYFT. So when the market's heading down, it's trying to get back into the upside. We're going to scalp some at 1-to-1, and then we're going to wait for it to get into the 40s and then take a little bit more out there. But the VWAP play at the end of the day, at the middle of the day, when it's stair-stepping up, it held it once. Technically, it held it at the open, but I don't count VWAP holds at 9:30 because I don't find it that relevant. It held it twice there at 9:50, and now it's holding it again here in the middle of the day.
All right, I'm there. I just punched out of all of Roblox. Guys, we have $3 in the money on Uber. We have $4 in the money on ARM right now. So sorry, Obi, but right now, we'll do this. It's a good trade. It's starting to go down. It's 350 in the money and still going down, 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 down. So here we go. We were a little bit nervous about getting out at 128, but when we see that bounce back and forth, it's just it has to come out. Like I had to get it out. It's $2. We have 2 $3 winners today, and both of them were as described and like. Oh my God, Sharif got a little remix there. Oh my God, Sharif, I like that, man. I like that, man. I was gonna say the Egyptian DJ, but I got to figure out a better name for that because we already have the Chilean Nightmare over there, which is awesome. Yeah, so again, Uber up 13%. I just literally tweeted this. I only tweeted one word, and it was because you don't need to do more than that. Sometimes it's not. Is Uber a word even? By the way, happy Valentine's Day. There it is. Let's go. It's pumping. It's pumping. It's Uber and it's pumping. Let's go to the moon, wherever that happens to be for Uber. If you could take an Uber ride to the moon, that would be kind of hot. All right, there we go. Now we're $4 in the money on ARM. I don't have a bid, and if I'm the only way I'm not in this, there's only one way I'm not in this when you guys come back. To me? Yeah, there's only one way. Thanks, Sharif. Sharif, 3 minutes, okay? There's only one way I'm not in this, and that is if it breaks back above VWAP. So whatever that price is, at any point today, my out is VWAP. So again, we're $4 in the money on ARM. We talked about it. I even, mentioned it before it happened. And we didn't even have it as it happened. We had to take it back against us as it was SSR. So I don't know where this thing goes. Let's just pretend SoftBank is here selling today, which they're not. And let's put a 110 bid on that. I'm not even joking.
They will be exactly 110.
I think we could get to that. We're going to get out of Uber on a 50-period break. So breaking back down through 77. Will we have not gotten out at the very top? Yes. We only have 10% left for Uber. With the market coming back in like this, I've already said it. It was right on the sticky note. The minute we start to go red, as there goes ARM. ARM is going to take this out at 125, by the way, putting us $4 plus now, almost $5 in the money now on ARM. And again, it only, like I said, it only takes one trade. There it is. My screen just keeps flickering over and over again. But there it is right now, Uber and ARM. I only have 4 positions today. We're going to go 4 for 4, and that's that. So again, trading can be difficult, but some days when you got it, it's good. So we just got to, the Egyptian sensation, no, I need more than that. I need something about a DJ because the guy's always pumping these dollar clubs. All right, yeah, so we'll work on that. A break of 77.15 for Uber, and we're out. And I just wanted to let everybody know, our stop on this position was like a break of the day's low that we kept on talking about. 73.50, probably 73.40 is where my stop is. So right now we're in the money here, $2.50 with a 25-cent stop. So another 10-to-1 banger for you. And then ARM is only 4-to-1 because we were giving it $1 worth of risk. So, all right, anything you want to wrap up with?
So I'm out on, it's VWAP if LYFT breaks, so that's not going to be anything new. But with the market pulling back in, I'm going to revisit a short that I did like when things were too strong. I'll jump back over to Rivian. Flat bottom break 1550, short into VWAP on Rivian. It is 11 o'clock though, so once again, we will be back at 2. Valentine's Day ain't over, and the market is giving you a lot of red if you're into it.
But one more thing.
What's up?
All right, let's go what's for lunch right now. We're going to have a salad, but this is very important. This is a very unique day as ARM breaks 125, and we're quite happy right now. Today is something I've never told you guys before, ever on the show. Man, the Egyptian sensation over there is very excited today. I like it. Okay. We just got out of Uber, by the way, broke lower. It's interesting. It's oven roasted cod with tomato curry, basmati rice. And I'm interested in this, steamed Asian greens.
Bok choy?
Yeah, bok choy. Could be some bok choy. Could be some Chinese broccoli. Anyways, I thought that was pretty interesting there.
No,
a little bit of cod, and that's what's for lunch.
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll work. That sounds like it'd be pretty good with a tomato curry base. All right, without any further ado, we're out of Uber. That was a good trade.
Salad.
Follow us. We'll be here. We'll be talking on the midday as well. Neil will come with the wrap, not the wrap.
I got a good lesson for today.
Real deal with Neil. We'll come.
Lesson of the day, real deal, but I got a good one for today. But let's head on over. It is time.
You're not going to spoil it?
I'm not telling you guys what it is. You got to tune in. You got to tune in.
Don't bury the lead.
Sometime around noon is when I pop in. It's not always around 12 o'clock, but let's get to the professor and Adara.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Dara. I'm Sharif. Oh,